Greetings, everyone. And welcome to a very special All Hallows Eve edition of Monster Party.
Monster Party! It's trick-or-treating! Pumpkin spice-filled!
Pumpkin spice?
Yes, pumpkin spice-filled!
Nah, it doesn't do it for me.
Well, speaking of spice-filled, who are you, sir?
Once again, you're right on the nose. I am spice-filled. I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm cream-filled Larry Strothe.
And I'm James Gonis.
Wow. Cream-filled. Wow.
Well, because I'm feeling like, candy and chocolate.
The
and
most information I've ever received about you, and I don't want to hear it ever again.
Well, if you don't want to hear that ever again, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what this thing
what
is
this
all
topic
about.
is, let me see. All Hallows Eve wasn't a hint.
Right.
Well, this is our Halloween episode.
Yeah. Woo.
And so we're going to do a little kind of a twist, kind of a different take on the old gal, as Larry would say.
Yes.
And put a new dress on her, right?
That's what I would say,
Okay,
yes.
put a new dress on her.
Spooky, slutty dress.
A slutty dress.
So
a
what-
slutty nurse dress.
So what is our slutty nurse dress topic?
The topic is Anything Goes, the Halloween edition.
Anything goes, the Halloween edition. Yes.
Now, everybody loves when we do our Anything Goes episodes.
Yeah,
Yes.
We love it.
We've done it like for Comic-Con.
In olden days.
Okay, wait for it.
Sorry.
Jesus, man. Uppity guest.
But look. So this is our Halloween episode. We've done different Halloween episodes.
Sure.
Like the last one that we did. That was the Halloween Hollywood style with Rich Carell and Bridget Martin,
that was a
which
lot of fun.
And that was at his place. It was filled with all kinds of great
amazing
props.
He has like the biggest horror collection in the world. right?
In the world. And then we also did one before that called Ash vs. Evil Dead, our Halloween extravaganza.
That's
That
right,
was with
yeah.
Dana DiLorenzo and Ray Santiago.
awesome.
Talking about Evil Dead and Halloween.
Great guest.
And then we did even further back our Halloween Hysteria with Dan Roebuck,
That was a
collector,
good one.
actor Fong Sam, and Erica Enders.
Right.
And so this one,
all winners.
they're all winners.
What's not to like?
And this is just an extension now of that where like anything we can talk about. It's just anything goes. Anything can happen.
And when I think of the term anything goes,
I thought we were talking about winner.
I can only think of one man.
Right.
And this man, he's an actor. He's a voice performer supreme. He is the founder of Biff Bang Pow Toys.
Biff Bang Pow Toys.
Which we have so many of
We
them.
do.
And we love them.
Love 'em.
And we love our guest. It's Jason LENZI.
Jason Lindsay! Welcome back!
Hello, everyone. Hello, audience.
Here he is.
Great
Listen
to
to that
have you
voice.
back, man.
I was going to introduce myself. If Larry winked at me one more time, I'd be cream-filled, Jason. But we'll let that go. That'll be on the blooper reel, maybe.
No, it's show
going
proper.
in?
It's
going
show
in?
proper.
Well, I love when you did the list. It was kind of like, we did this and we did this. And
Yeah.
oh, stellar.
Yes.
But today, we've run out of
No,
stellar. No, I'm teasing.
If you think about it, here's the fun. No. Let me tell you something. So we've had some
not
He's the
today.
voice of Little Debbie's treats.
No, so we've had some collectors.
Buster Brown
we've had
shoes,
actors. We've had directors.
Yes.
We had collectors
Yes.
of great monsters. But now we've got the head of a toy company.
And the common theme is
And the rest of his body, too. Not just the head.
No, yeah.
just
You know
a
what I
love
mean?
for
Custom
Halloween.
head.
It's
Custom
yeah.
head.
That's the way I like it.
Steady. Steady. It's early. Woo! Listen, guys.
Yes.
I
yes,
would
Jason.
love to do this, but I don't know if we had got the nights mixed up. I really can't be here.
Yeah.
Stuff
What
to
do you got going?
Nothing. And let me tell you something. Even if I did, I would be here because I love this show. I love you guys. And it
We
really
love
is.
you.
And I mean this. And this is the only bit of the show I'm going to be sincere on.
Okay. You promise?
This is such a professional outfit here, what you guys do. This is so sexy. Everything, the way it's set up, and the studio, and you guys, and how you do it.
Branding.
Branding. I mean it. It really is.
Yeah.
This is like people...
We want to put
People
you in
know
the
that-
mood.
People know that the podcasts are a visual medium. But I'm going to sort of, I don't mean to talk down to the audience, but I'm going to paint the picture for you a little bit. Everybody's in a Monster Party t-shirt.
True.
I'm completely nude. And
Of course.
there's mic flags, there's coasters, this is a great studio. There's
Bubbling
all kinds of stuff.
pumpkins.
It's incredible. So what I'm getting at is, with the list of people you've had on the show, with the topics you cover, and everything else, it is really a thrill and an honor to be a part of it and to be asked.
Thank
to be
you.
thought.
And this is
Thrilled to have
really
you.
your second time.
This is my second help.
because we had you for the toy making episode
right.
with our friend Kevin Smith.
Right.
That's right.
But we would like, you know
right.
what? We got to give him his own spotlight.
I love it.
We
I
got
love
to, and Halloween, right? You're a big Halloween guy. You love Halloween.
Huge
Who doesn't love Halloween?
Who doesn't love Halloween? You know, I don't trust anyone who doesn't love Halloween.
Right.
I'm with you.
I'll be honest with you.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny you should say that because back on our Halloween Hysteria show, Dan Roebuck brought up that, you know, where the origin of Halloween came from.
Yeah.
And it was basically America that made Halloween what it is. And so if you don't like Halloween, that's un-American.
That's right.
Well, yeah.
I need
I
time
mean, it
we
wouldn't be
can.
top of my list of un-American things, but that's pretty close. But it's up there.
Anytime we can drop a load of commercialism onto a holiday.
Listen,
Right.
what's not to love? You can be any religion, any faith.
Yes.
Monster movies, candy.
Candy.
The seasons, depending on where you live, the seasons are changing. The
Yeah.
colors are changing.
Fall.
and
Masks
fall.
and costumes.
Yeah, dressing up,
Yeah.
parties.
Pagans
Parties.
know how to come up
Pagans-
with
Say
holidays.
what you want about pagans.
No, they really fix everything.
They really do.
Christmas was a disaster when it started.
Exactly.
And, you know, and it was all sad. Oh, the guy, okay, he came back from the dead.
Let's
Yay.
repent and-
But then someone said, hey, wait a minute. What if I bought you some toys?
And
I know
threw
that's
in-
Easter.
And
But,
threw in some.
but I get 'em
chocolate
mixed up.
bunnies.
Yeah.
No.
but yeah, like what if I got you a hibachi and I wrapped it up and I gave it to you on December 25th and we took a tree and hung some shit that we found on it and
Wouldn't that make you less sad?
and then we sang some songs
Right.
that were about winter.
Right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be as sad then, would you?
I would not.
Exactly.
No, and then it'd be like,
Timmy.
okay, yeah, Jesus was born, but look at all this shit I got.
Yeah.
And
But
you know-
let's
Thank you,
get past
Jesus.
that if
And
we could.
that's great, but that's Christmas. And tonight it's our Halloween
It's the Halloween
episode.
time. It's Halloween time.
And you know the funny thing is you mentioned, you know, being a kid. I mean, what kid when you're growing up, what kid doesn't like to dress up? You're playing with other kids. You dress up as a different character. I mean, and so Halloween is almost like an extension of that.
Well, it's-
when you
yeah.
think about it,
Yeah.
when you were a kid and you decide, who am I going to be for Halloween? What are all the things I played at the playground? Let's see. I was Superman. I was Batman. I was, you know,
Tinkerbell.
well, you know, whatever that was.
Carl Bernstein? You did Carl Bernstein
No,
one
and
year.
Broomhilda.
The point,
Broomhilda.
and James can back me up here. This is the point where
G. Gordon Liddy.
this is the point where, okay, for one night, I'm going to dress up as one of those favorite characters that I would
Right.
play as on the playground.
Shemp.
You know,
Shemp? Was it Shemp?
it could be.
I should-
It
I
could
should be
be.
Shemp.
That was a good. That was a good year for you.
Well,
I could do Shem.
with Jason, like,
Yes,
do you have
sorry.
any like really memorable like childhood Halloween experiences?
I'm going to try to make this as buttoned down as I can. I
Okay.
think there's something beyond all the stuff we just listed, beyond the monster movies and the candy and the season and the thing and the all that stuff that we love. There's something very primal about it to me, and I think part of it is I grew up in the Twin Cities. I was born in St. Paul and Minnesota, and when you got to the fall, September, October, the seasons would change very quickly.
Right.
And I always tell people, if you're ever going to go visit the Twin Cities, try to go in like late September, early October, because it is perfect. It is absolutely gorgeous. 50 degrees, 55 degrees. Leaves are changing. The breeze, it's like windbreaker weather. It's perfect.
Right.
But by the time you get to Halloween, it does start to get very cold.
Really?
And a lot of the times when we get the box costumes, we'd have to wear a snowsuit under the Ben Hooper costume, which was brutal. But what I'm getting at is the time.
Yeah, there
of
is a
year-
point to this,
There is
right?
a point to this.
Okay.
The time of year, the costumes, which would be Target, and people don't get it. Like, we grew up with Target. That's where it started, was the Twin Cities before it went
Yeah.
big. All that other stuff, it's all wrapped up into that bit of childhood where everything is still, all of that stuff is huge. And it's
Right.
part of it is nostalgia, I think, for, fall in the Twin Cities and,
Yeah,
leaves,
and there's just like optimism. You're
Optimism.
still in that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
There's-
it's like the first sanctioned cosplay.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
kind of
the
right.
first
For little kids, especially,
time.
yeah.
Well, and then it kind of got into like, hey, mom and dad went, what if I dress up as a witch too? And and I'll be
Right.
But back
I'll
in
be
the,
me.
Back in
Right.
the day, adults didn't used to dress up.
No,
That's true.
Now it's for everybody.
Well, now,
Yeah.
it's true.
And it's like a con is almost more Halloween than Halloween can be sometimes.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It would have been the only time really that you would have dressed up, and maybe there was a costume party that you went to, but Halloween was kind of a universal thing. Kids did it. High schoolers had parties.
Right.
And then the trick or treating, like the origins go back to, poor kids going to places to see if they could get a little food,
Right.
Right.
And but there was always an element of whether it's overt or under the surface, but like sex appeal too.
Whoa. Wait, which part? Which part?
Costumes
Oh,
and the revelry.
You're talking about now?
And even in like back in the old days, they would have these big festivals where everybody would work for the longest period of time, and then they'd have like this little festival that would go on in the town, and they'd get their wages and they'd go berserk. And today we call that a Halloween party if it's done right.
Oh, yes. Now, maybe we should go around the table about this. I'm not a big, much as I love all that stuff, I'm not a big dressing up as an adult person. I've only done it a couple of times as an adult. Do you guys, is that a thing for you guys?
Well, before we do, because I was so into you as a kid. Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what were some of the things you dressed up as a kid? I need to know.
Okay, I was thinking about this because I did make a list.
Oh.
I did make a list. I think my first box costume was
And not Box from Logan's Run.
and not box from Logan's Run.
If only.
The four of you out
If
there.
only,
that are
yeah.
gonna
Although
get that
I
joke.
did make one.
Yeah, I'll bet you did.
Yeah.
Was Mr. Spock.
Really?
And it was pre-Star Wars. So it was the one.
Yes,
and
we know that Star
come
Trek
on.
was before Star Wars.
No.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What I mean is, I was Spock before Star Wars hit, is what I'm saying. I didn't get the Spock because Spock was a
understand.
perennial.
Right,
Okay,
right.
well, just in case.
Was it like the plastic mat, like the
Plastic
Yes.
Mask Ben Cooper, and it had an image of him on the
Okay, and that's our pet peeve. We all have that, right?
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
When did it finally occur to someone
Yeah,
to make the
yeah.
costume look like the
His
character's
outfit.
costume?
Yeah, I know.
They're wearing a costume instead of like you're the leader of that person's fan club.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
I think it might have been the mid '90s.
I think you're
when
right.
that started.
Yeah,
That
so
when
weird.
I got so mad when
I
I
think-
saw those first costumes.
I think Dan Roebuck brought up it was like you could tell when the costumes would start to be designed by people our age. When we go, why did they have the picture of the character on the front?
Did they even sometimes have like the name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Even like
Yes.
Mr. Spock. I guess
yes.
maybe that was why, so that like adults would
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Hey,
you're
Mr. Spook.
So they wouldn't
Dr.
open.
Spock.
They wouldn't open the door to trick or treaters and have to say, "Oh, who are you supposed to be?"
Yeah,
because
maybe.
it's right there on the front.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So weird.
And I also like the fact that those costumes were completely made of polyester, and yet you'd still freeze your ass off.
Yeah.
and it was horrible because we'd have to be in. So I was Darth Vader, I think, the next year.
Okay.
And so it
Oh,
was
sold out, huh?
snowsuit. Yeah, I was such a prick. Snowsuit, Ben Cooper costume over it. Nothing looks threatening about this. And then
Darth Vader with a cold.
Darth Vader mask, and then a ski cap or
Oh no!
and the mask over it. But the thing is, and I've got a picture somewhere where I've got it on, and I've got red wool gloves. And I'm sort of leaning against a chair with the mask on.
But Jason,
and
I can-
the
Darth
the
Vader
chest is Darth Vader. It's got his
stars
picture
in
on
A
it.
Christmas Story.
Exactly
I can relate to that
by Bob Fosse.
because I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So same kind of thing. It would come around October, it could be really cold. So
Yes.
you want to be out and like free to wear your costume the way it
Yes.
is, but you would have to wear gloves or a hat sometimes because
Yes.
it's freezing.
There's a great one of my favorite Halloween songs is by a singer named Haywood Banks, and
Okay.
it's really funny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's one of the lyrics is, "It's hard to scare the neighbors into giving up some loot when you're a ninja in a down coat at 4 p.m.
That's dead on. That's perfect. And then the thing is, with the Ben Cooper stuff, you're wearing a plastic
oh
mask.
God. I
Oh,
know.
those were
And
horrible.
it's 40 degrees out.
Yeah.
So you're sweating.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're breathing through a
And now you're
pinhole.
catching
Yeah.
pneumonia. And you've got
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
little
sucking in the
slit for your
fumes
tongue.
of that
That
polyurethane mask.
that smell, the smell of box
yeah.
costumes,
So distinct
is
and
so
memorable.
primal.
I know. It
Still,
really
if you
is.
open up an old box costume and you
Yeah,
just
totally.
huff in that
no, it's glorious.
beautiful plastic smell.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I mentioned this before, I think, but the very first official Halloween costume that I had, I was in kindergarten. So this was 1970, and it was Batman. But it wasn't really Batman. It was more like my mom was able to get
The Korean pirated version.
It was man bat
thing.
kind of.
Right.
And the funny thing is, my mom, I think, didn't like the actual costume, and my mom made me a Batman cape, which I still have.
Oh, my God.
But for you,
Wow.
Jason,
Wow.
I have something to show you. And I know this
Really?
makes for great radio.
That's great. Okay, here we go.
This is the mask.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that
So,
mask.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not Batman.
I remember that.
It's like a man bat. And if you notice, it's got a
Speaking
little
of Bob
bat.
Fosse,
Yeah,
Yes.
no, but here's the funny thing about this.
Yeah.
Now, Matt got pissed off about this, but my mom also added she pinned a little rubber bat on top of it.
Nice.
And so
why did I get mad
Because you
about
thought
that?
it was stupid.
I know. I have a feeling that's not the way the story went.
Yes,
but
yes. But
That seems like a
Jason,
really harsh way to
Jason,
respond to that.
Just when you think
that you were that angry about what his
I'm
mom
a
did.
bad
so
man.
what's
hell?
great is, and I have this great picture, and I will post it on Facebook of me in the kindergarten parade,
No
and
way.
I actually I'm walking and I turn right as my dad took the photo, and you can see my little.
Wow.
I call it Batman.
No, I
what
remember
is
that.
It must be
What
like the
is that
Zapruder
costume?
film.
But what is that character really? Like, is that...
You know what it is? Here's the mask. You're probably wondering, well, what did it look like in its original package?
I was actually.
Well, guys, it's right here.
No.
It was called
Audio reveal.
the Crime Fighter Cape and Mask Set.
Right.
This is what it looked like, mint
my
in
God.
package.
Wow.
Never been removed from the plastic.
That's incredible.
So years
What
later, you went on
company is that?
eBay and got it in package?
Yes, I did.
What's the
Yeah.
company?
And I've
What's
been
the-
who made it? What's the-
Monsanto.
no, it's Star Band Company from Portsmouth.
That's crazy.
that
Rhode
Virginia?
Their one and only
That's
costume,
amazing.
or
Yeah,
That's
I think
amazing.
so.
it
But-
looks like just quality wise, it looks like it's better quality than your average Ben Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, listeners, again, we'll post a picture, but typically the Ben Coopers, they came in a box. This is not a Ben Cooper,
Yeah,
and it came in a
yeah.
plastic bag.
But it's
and-
kind of cool sculpting in the mask, though.
Yeah, I agree.
But
You know
it's
what-
clear. It's clear they're trying to
Sure.
do a Batman.
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's funny. It looks
Sorry.
a lot like Night Owl from The Watchmen.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Did you say you were in kindergarten in 1970? Is that you were in
Yes.
kindergarten in 1970?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah, we're a little older than you.
Well, I have literally done everything wrong my entire life because he looks younger than me.
Hey.
We were in kindergarten in 1970.
Well, hey man,
Well,
thank you.
for-
Thank you
you're-
very much.
As a 60-year-old man,
and for 60,
You look
I'm not,
fantastic.
For 60, I'm not bad.
So
For
okay.
30.
So
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes,
so
yes.
you were Darth Vader. You were
Yeah.
Mr. Spock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forget what I know. You were like a ghost.
I was a
that-
Casper knockoff.
and I've been dying to find out which. I've been showing you ghost mask. Oh, it's not that. It's not that. We've got to find that mask.
You mean
You
like-
sure it was a knockoff and not like...
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
one of the
Really?
idiot cousins or whatever they were called.
That's what I thought.
Who were those
It
guys?
wasn't even-
Frickin'
It wasn't
frack.
even branded. It was like a Casper knockoff.
Who were those guys? Were there two of them or three of them?
there's, I think there were
Two.
three.
Three
Really?
uncles.
There were three. Yeah.
Teabag ghosts.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, just jerks.
Just jerk offs.
yeah, they were horrible living.
But do you
Horrible-
think?
horrible
Do you
as
know if there was a
humans.
photo of you with that? Is there a photo? So your dad didn't go. I'm not
Yeah.
going to take
I
a
don't
photo
think-
of you. Waste film on you.
I don't have a lot of Halloween pictures from my childhood.
do I.
I think I've got the
Come on,
one Darth
come on,
Vader, and that's it.
You don't have. Come on.
it.
Didn't your family take photos of you?
No.
Didn't your
Weren't they
family love
proud
you?
of you?
Didn't they love
They
you?
dropped me off at school. That was it. If I made my way back home,
I just walked into town, played at the arcade all day.
sure, yeah. No, I think my first costume, if I remember correctly, was the devil.
And he's never taken it off, folks.
Yeah,
It
Ben
will
Cooper
never come
devil.
off.
No, so you were a
Wow.
Ben Cooper devil?
Yes, yeah.
So it was in a little outfit and it said devil on it.
Yeah.
Or did it say Satan?
Satan,
Murder.
gonna take your soul. Ooh, give me candy.
No, what did the mask? Did he have the pointy chin? What did it
Yeah,
look like?
it was your classic
Devil?
Satan. It was very,
Hooves?
very. It was well, not hooves. I should have.
On the
I should have
front.
added.
Right,
Should have added.
that,
Could have
yeah.
added that.
That would have been good. But it had the
Over the top.
horns.
Yep.
And it had the little. It was very Coop.
Yes.
Kind of Coop
Right.
devil.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get
If
that.
you're familiar with the work of Coop. the
Yes.
artist, yeah.
So okay, so
C. Everett,
Ghost.
C. Everett Cooper. See,
No. Although I did go
his
one
stuff's
year.
good.
I did go as him.
his stuff is good. That's very underrated.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very okay. So Casper knockoff, Devil.
Oh, the Surgeon General.
Sean,
I love his work.
Sean, do you remember your first?
I don't remember
Your
my first.
you don't remember?
I know I was Spider-Man one year.
You always remember your first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, apparently not.
I
Okay,
think
wait a
it was like a zombie ghoul type mask. I don't think it was a Ben Cooper though, but it was something like the
Like a rubber mask, or
No, I knew
Well,
it
there's
was not the rubber. It was it was a plastic, but it
Okay.
wasn't like it was kind of like the shock monster, but not the shock monster.
Okay.
You know, that and I think maybe like an astronaut, like the
It's an astronaut with it's an astronaut, and inside it's like a monster zombie thing.
that sounds too cool.
No, yeah, it was just
Yeah,
more like
that
an
sounds like
astronaut
a
helmet.
TV show you
That's-
saw.
No,
Is that a
no,
TV show you
no,
saw?
no. It's a mask.
I think you're getting mixed
No,
up with a show.
No, I am
Okay.
not.
Well, on that note, you just made me think of something.
Wow,
There was
the show's over.
All right, good night, everybody. Apparently, it's not. The box costumes. I remember that my cousin, who was a couple years older, started looking in the back of like Fangoria. And rubber masks, they were big in like Famous Monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
Sure,
They're
and
always
really
too
expensive.
expensive.
The
Really
Don Post
expensive.
ones.
Yeah.
We never had them, but he
Yeah.
suddenly, I never knew where, like his parents were divorced and his dad would just throw him money and stuff and he'd get them two VCRs.
To only grow up like that.
And he would order these rubber masks out of Fangoria. And then that became kind of the costume thing. And it got away from the box stuff. Like that was the
Right.
next
That's
level.
like, those kids.
You know?
We were like, I don't even know you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You're,
When
you're
I
like
was
the,
little, it was
the
always
rich
the-
kid in like one of those
Yeah.
little Rascals shorts. You
Yeah.
know, who moves
Yeah,
in-
those were expensive.
Yeah, those
man.
were really
Yeah.
expensive. Even the medium range ones were a little higher than
Yeah.
Don Post
Yeah.
800 line, $8, and
or the ones below that were kind of like there were ones that were kind of flimsy that you could sort of afford.
Like the
Top-
3PO
top
face
stone,
thing, the
right? Top
plastic
You know,
thing?
there were like
No.
I remember there was like a Wolfman, and I remember
there was a 150. It was called the 150 line, which was $1.50, and they were rubber masks, and they were really thin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Larry,
You know-
the first time I went to Universal Studios,
Mm-hmm.
and when we were there, they sold masks at the gift shop, and I bought a creature mask.
Really?
Don't have it anymore, but I wore it all over the park. I wore it into the swimming pool at the hotel, and I think there's some slides of it.
You should look for
I have
that.
to find them.
You have got to find them because
Definitely
yeah.
security
Now,
footage at the
the-
hotel.
okay, because I
him in
will
the
say
mask.
this. I will say
There's definitely some weird shit that
well,
happened
I,
the night at the hotel.
I
with
know
that
that you're
mask,
gonna
and
love
I know
this.
the hotel's got the footage.
because this is right about that time. If you guys recall, because I know Jason, you're a big fan. The Brady Bunch did an episode where the girls were having a slumber party and the three boys dress up in spooky outfits.
Right.
Bobby's wearing a creature from the Black Lagoon mask, and I'm wondering if it's
It
the one,
might be.
because
I think it might be.
it is not the 800 line creature. It is not the $34 one. It's not. So it's got to be the one that's
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
And
Probably.
and these are very rare. They're hard to find.
It
They
was
weren't-
pretty flimsy,
Yeah,
but it
and
was, but it looked good though.
Yeah, yeah. This
Can I-
creature that Bobby wears, the creature from the Black Lagoon mask that Bobby wears in the Brady Bunch episode, it's great. And every time I see it, I go, oh, I gotta find that.
I just want to clarify before this goes live. Not a fan of the Brady Bunch. I don't know where that came from.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'm
I thought
real
you were,
lukewarm.
I thought you were like Mr. Retro guy.
No,
Am
I think you're
I'm-
thinking of the Hair Bear Bunch.
Yeah, they were good.
They had their shit together.
What about
Brady Bunch. Please.
what about the Partridge Family?
I mean, they were all right.
They were way better than.
Oh, they
Brady
were
Bunch.
far better.
The only
than Brady
reason I
Bunch.
watched Partridge
shit.
Family because of
They were far better.
Mrs.
Sorry.
Partridge and Susan Day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Susan Day.
But Mrs.
Yeah,
Partridge.
Shirley
And Danny,
Jones was
come on.
pretty
Shirley
hot.
And Danny.
Danny was pretty sexy.
Okay, so
Shirley Jones was like the,
All right.
the hot mom.
Yeah.
I worked with Danny.
okay, this is great.
bet
But
you
was
did.
there a Halloween
Lovely guy.
episode? Was there a Halloween
Probably.
episode of Partridge Family?
Probably.
Probably.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, probably.
Well, look, the Partridge
maybe.
Family were guests on Goober and the Ghost Chasers quite often, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Ghosts.
Bringing it back.
yeah.
There you go.
Bringing it back. HB.
Well, what about how about some Halloween specials? Do you guys
Nice.
have any of those that
Oh
are
my god! Oh my
memorable?
God! That just made me think of this. Through the wonders of Roku, Jeannie and I just discovered this show. It's actually Riff Tracks, which is
Oh, yeah.
this
Yep.
offshoot from Mystery Science
Yeah.
Theater.
Yep.
But they sometimes find these really strange programs, and this was. Oh my God! This was done in the mid '70s. It must have been like a primetime 1 hour special, early '70s, called I think it was The Night Dracula Saved the World.
Whoa.
With Judd Hirsch as Dracula, and Mariette Hartley as a witch, and John Schuck as the Frankenstein monster.
That's
and
perfect.
It is atrocious. It's like the Star Wars holiday
You say,
special.
I smell an Emmy.
That's
not atrocious.
Unbelievably bad.
That's dreamcasting.
You
right
have to
there.
see it. You have to see
I
it.
smell indica.
Do you remember? Do you remember the return of the Addams Family? That's
Yes, we talked
We
about
had
that.
Lisa
We had
Loring.
Lisa Loring on
and
the show.
I remember, and I could be wrong. It was either that one or a Munsters thing, but
Monsters,
it aired,
they did it too.
It aired the night, like the Halloween night that I was Darth Vader. I swear to God, it was on TV, and I had to go, get away from it to go trick or treating. But I know it was color. So was the Addams Family thing? Was that a color reunion thing?
I
think so.
Yes, it was.
I think so.
It was.
Yeah.
Late
Yes, it
70s
was.
kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Okay, so that might have been it. And I kind of knew. I knew Addams Family because I'd watch them in the afternoon. I'd watch that show in the afternoon.
Kind
Yeah.
of knew Adam's
Well,
Family.
no, what I mean is I must have known it. Yeah, it was it had to be like 78 maybe or
Yeah.
something.
The Addams Family didn't really get as much play syndication wise, at least when I was growing up,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the Munsters.
Monsters
did.
got far more.
Yeah.
Much more.
Just looking this up, though, I guess it was retitled because this special was 1979. It's called The Halloween That Almost Wasn't. But I guess it's also known as The Night Count Dracula Saves the World. Directed by Bruce Bilson.
Bruce Bilson. What?
He's
What
like a
that
comic
ring a
guy.
bell?
He did,
Yeah.
he did a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. But this also has
Bilson.
Henry Gibson was in it.
Oh, hey.
But it's just
Henry
so
Gibson.
it's so
You're going to make me
horrible.
run to Roku.
Yeah, you have to check it out. It's unbelievable.
This is what I remember when I think you talk about specials. Everyone knows the Charlie Brown.
Of course,
great.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a classic.
I don't know about where you guys grew up, but when they would run the Peanut specials, they would run commercials for Dolly Madison.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And they were really hard to find in
Yeah.
the Twin Cities. The zingers and the donuts. And whatever.
Really?
They didn't
Yeah.
have them in New York
Yeah.
either.
I
Do you have them?
No.
I don't think we had them either.
Because now I think they're
Where were
Hostess.
they
I think-
available?
I don't know.
Didn't
Yeah,
Hostess
they were-
buy them now? They
no,
call
I-
them.
It was
Took the name
Hostess.
and
That's what you
everything?
had.
Hostess.
Yeah, I remember
But- and
having.
the
They were
peanuts
in
were-
San Francisco.
Were they?
Yeah.
They were all
factory
over the
was there.
packaging and stuff too. Like
Yeah. We
never saw 'em.
all
I never
so it was-
saw 'em.
It was all to me every time there was a special. It was that CBS special,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
and it was the Dolly Madison commercials.
That's right.
Wow.
Always, and the pumpkin one was the biggest one.
Maybe
Okay.
Dolly
And I always-
Madison was like a regional Bay Area thing, and Charles Schultz was from the Bay Area, so maybe it was like regional.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't.
But you know where
it's
he
funny.
was
I don't
from?
remember
Wasn't
ever
he from
eating
St.
one or
Paul?
seeing one.
Isn't he?
Charles Schultz?
Well, the strip got started in the Pioneer Press, St. Paul Pioneer Press.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then he
okay.
ended up in Santa Rosa, right?
Yeah,
he did. That's
yeah.
right.
Because
That's
when you
right.
got my parents lived there, and
Basically,
so
everything cool came from Minnesota, basically.
and
Oh,
Santa
there you
Rosa.
go.
Now, what about the Kiss Halloween special?
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
the
Amazing.
Kiss Halloween special is one that I remember when I was first even made aware of it. It was on some compilation tape that I got at a convention. It was like, oh, the Kiss Halloween special with Paul Lynn. I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
No. It's the Paul Lynn Halloween.
Yes,
special.
you're right.
With
Yes,
Kiss.
you are
Sorry.
correct.
I-
Oh my
I-
gosh,
for a
you are
second-
correct.
No, for a second I went, wait a second.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to see this, whatever you're talking about.
No,
But I
no,
think
you're
it's the
right,
Paul-
you're
okay,
right.
okay, if that's the same
But see,
thing,
but
okay.
but that's
Paul Lynn was in everything.
But that's kind of where I'm going with this,
Yeah,
is because
yeah,
when
yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
the clips,
Yeah.
I really thought it was the Kiss Halloween
Sure,
special.
yeah.
sure.
And then I ended up buying the full special.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
And it really is Paul Lynn. It's a lot of bits, a
Now-
lot of hilarious bits
now
with
for-
Billy Hayes.
Yeah,
and,
no,
you know,
Tim
Tony
Conway.
Party,
No,
yeah.
for-
They're at a
Ross
truck
Kelly.
stop. They're in like
there's a
complete
there's a lot of
leather
bits
gear.
that go on
my God.
forever.
But
And
listen,
Betty
for,
White's
for the
in it.
listeners,
Pinky
can you
Tuscadero.
just explain who Paul Lynn is?
well, Paul Lynn, character actor, was in a lot of movies, was in Bye Bye Birdie, and he always had this
Center
kind
Square,
of
Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares, Center Square,
Bewitched.
Really, yeah, Uncle Arthur.
Yeah.
And he was really funny. He had this kind of crazy camp delivery that was like
I
this.
said sailor.
Oh, no.
And people loved him.
And he was
They
hilarious.
just
He really
loved
was,
him.
especially on Hollywood Squares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was this era, it was this time where a lot of people kind of knew what the deal was with Paul Lynn.
I don't
Yeah.
think
But it
so.
was, but
No, they
but-
knew.
No.
They knew, but
Just like with Alan Sues.
like
Remember Alan
yes,
Sues?
yes,
Liberace.
absolutely.
Liberace,
Yeah.
yeah,
Liberace.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, wait, Liberace was not. Slow down.
He was
everybody.
he was bi, if
Hold
anything.
on a second.
right?
You got married once. No, but right. It was that weird sort of netherworld. Even like Rip Taylor, who just
Oh,
passed
Rip
away.
Taylor, my
right.
God, yeah.
Rest in peace. Rip
Yes.
Taylor never came out.
No,
He
but,
never came out. But I mean,
But those
he was
bits were
always around.
super funny at the time.
Yeah,
A
And
grown
only-
man with a wig throwing confetti at people.
Just being-
I was just like, that is
Classic.
hilarious.
Just being
That was a wig?
ridiculous. Yeah, it turns out they found out after he died. It turns out it was the wig.
The autopsy.
The autopsy was like, shit. You guys aren't going to believe this. Guys, get in here. You're not going to believe this.
No, so separating the glue
You're not going to believe this.
took hours.
Wig this whole time.
So
it was a wig.
So getting back to Paul Lynde, he was a very successful character actor, and he did this special. It was a Halloween
He did a special.
And he happened to have Kiss
He had
the
Kiss,
show.
and he also had Margaret Hamilton,
Hamilton, yeah.
as the Wicked Witch of the West.
and-
playing the Wicked Witch of the West.
No.
Yes.
yeah.
And Billy Hayes, who was Witchy Poo.
Billy Barty, Donnie and Marie were on it.
Donnie and Marie?
Tim
No,
Conway.
Donnie and Marie were. Why I know this? There's no explanation for it.
Go, man,
Donnie
go.
And Marie were not on the Paul Lynde special. Paul Lynde was on.
Who said Donnie and Marie was on the?
He did.
Well, IMDb says it.
Paul Lynde. Paul
okay.
Lynde was on every special, every episode of the Donnie and Marie show.
Yeah.
but I don't think Donnie and Marie were on the special. I think it was Tim.
He
Conway.
said IMDb.
Maybe it's
says-
archive footage
well,
or something.
because you know,
Oh, that's possible.
IMDb's never been wrong.
That's true.
Pinky Tuscadero, Tim Conway, Kiss, and by the way, outside of the midnight special, that was the first Kiss appearance on television.
Really?
They did they did Burt Sugarman's midnight special, and then the first show they ever did was the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
And then they did Kiss Meets the Phantom of the
And
Park.
then no one ever saw him again.
No, so here's the
Whatever happened to them?
So
They
here's
disappeared.
So here's the funny thing. I'm sure our listeners
Did
know.
you say Kiss appeared?
Kiss appeared, disappeared.
I'm sure our listeners
With Paul
know
Lynde.
the rock group Kiss. They've been around for a while.
We're not gonna explain
no,
Kiss,
no,
are
no,
we?
I mean, no, but the year, are we talking about like 76,
Let's go back.
77?
Something like that.
Haley in the comments.
and it's like Kiss was really big. They were kind of
huge.
scary or something.
Were you a
they-
Kiss fan?
Well, they weren't. They
Jason?
Okay, and I'm not trying to be funny. I was the kid on the playground that was like, I prefer Paul McCartney and Wings.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say Alice Cooper.
And that's what I would get on the
Wings.
playground.
Wings.
Hey, listen. I'll fight you.
Wings.
I will fight you.
coming up.
About Wings. That was Paul McCartney's solo. That was
silly love
post Wings.
songs.
Okay,
That was post Wings.
What's wrong with
but
that?
I never disliked Kiss.
Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, Kiss. I dig them. You know,
Yeah.
they're
How old
fine,
were you?
They're cool.
Around that time.
Physically or mentally?
Give me an age range. How about that?
Oh, I was probably like 7 when they were
Okay, all right.
really big.
But see,
It's a little young for that.
You know, when you're in grade school, like 7th and 8th grade, my gosh, Kiss is like. Now, I went to a private school, so Kiss was kind of, it was kind of rebelling
Wait a
in a
minute,
way.
everything- they were everything
Did you
in
like
one.
Kiss?
Guys, I have something to tell you.
Oh my god! Here we go.
Would you guys believe
I'm Gene
No.
Simmons.
that I dressed up as Peter Criss?
No,
Back
freaking
in
way.
1978.
Larry, that's terrific.
Genius.
And so I am
We'll have to
showing
post
that.
everyone,
That's
and we'll
fantastic.
post this too, is back in 78.
That's a good
And
Peter Criss.
And the funny thing was,
That's
there were
fantastic.
3 friends of mine, and each took a Kiss character.
Wow,
and then I was
that's
Peter
cool.
Criss, and I basically there was the makeup thing, right? So
Right.
I did the makeup,
Fantastic.
thank you, and then I made. And if this is from, do you remember the album? This is like from it's the first one when they're the painting.
Destroyer?
Destroyer, I think it was.
Destroyer, yeah.
So it's Peter Criss, and it looks like he has
Love
like
gun? Do you think of Love
it,
Gun?
it has like bullet things.
Yeah,
across
yeah,
his
like
chest.
bandoliers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bandoliers and wrist or like muscle bands and my hair. I grew up my hair a little longer.
That is brilliant.
And so the funny thing is, my dad took this photo of me down in the family room, and I'm in front of the giant white chimney, and I'm trying to look all badass, and it's kind of funny. But yeah, so this is.
cut to somehow those photos get to a guy in Germany.
But
You're
it's,
making monthly.
How much for the whole
no,
set?
but it's funny. It's like Matt has always teased me. It's like Matt's Mr. Rock and Roll, and then Larry
But
listens to
Are you rock and roll?
I am, yes.
Larry listens
I am
to Judy
Mr. Rock and
Garland.
Roll.
You're a little bit
but
country.
listen, look, but here I am.
Did you like them though?
Yeah, I had a
You
friend.
liked Beth,
No,
I bet, and that's why you're
I
a Peter
did.
Criss.
I know I did like Beth, but also everyone likes the I love rock and roll all night. Everyone loves that.
I'll tell you this.
First of all, I don't even know what
Okay,
that song
I
is.
don't want to
That
get.
was like a hybrid of Joan Jett.
You can
I
sing
love
it.
rock and roll.
I want to rock and roll.
First of all-
Yeah.
and if you think about it, it makes total sense because Kiss, they have costumes, they have makeup. That's Halloween, man.
He took comic books, glam, Alice Cooper, Halloween, monster
Yeah,
stuff.
it was
all
like
that
the
stuff that he
perfect
loved.
thing for like young
For a
boys.
kid,
It's like-
it was
This
like
way.
the answer to everything I
Yeah.
ever wanted in
Yeah.
life.
Now-
Kiss showed up and like, oh my god, they're a rock band. They rock the fuck out.
They dress up.
They're
scary,
monsters,
they spit blood.
total
and
men.
spit blood, and they got chicks all over the place,
hairy
and, and they're just hot and steamy.
So wait. Sorry.
Who am I?
Hang on, wait a minute. I'm so confused.
But they were great, and their songs were great because they were. I feel like they were like the Lennon and McCartney of ridiculous rock.
Well, listen, no one's going to argue with that, although I will. But I will say that New York Groove is a tight tune.
That's the one you go to. That's the one you go to.
That is Ace Frehley's solo, though.
That's the song.
That is a top
Fellas,
tune. That is a
that's
great
the one
tune.
he goes to.
All right, cue that. We're going to go to a commercial.
King of the nighttime world? No, huh? No?
Well,
okay.
I got a
Why?
Kiss
'Cause
story.
there was-
I got a Kiss story and a Halloween story that just happened.
Okay.
It was not planned.
All right, go.
I'll make it as quick as I can.
Please.
That's what she said.
Hey.
All right. So this is about, I don't know, 10 years ago, 8, 9, 10 years ago. My friend Rich Fulcher, who you know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know him, but I worship
I
him.
love him.
Rich
Yeah.
Fulcher from
We got to get him on the
Mighty
show,
Boosh,
by the way.
Snuffbox. Okay, we'll do
Yeah,
that.
I don't
know
Him. Anyway, so
the Mighty
he and
Boosh.
he and I are hanging out, and he says, "Look, there's a Halloween party if you want to go."
Do his voice.
deal.
He can do his voice so
I'm
good.
not- no,
please,
he can
please.
Hey, listen, Jason. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow night?
How good is that?
So he says there's a Halloween party. I said I don't have a costume. I got to. No, just do whatever. I'm just gonna be Columbo. What are you gonna do? Oh, I just got like a shirt and a tie. And I'm gonna put a trench coat on and with a cigar, and all night go. Wait a minute. One more thing.
Wow, that's two impressions in one impression.
That was
Yeah,
Fulcher
Fulcher
doing
doing
Peter
Peter
Falk.
Falk.
Damn, I want to see your one man show.
So I had no time. I thought, you know what? Suit, I found a pair of like Buddy Holly glasses. I'm going to be Clark Kent. And just all night, just be at this party and just say, what are you supposed to, I'm Clark Kent. And then they say, oh, really? Is there like a t-shirt? And it's like, I can't tell you that. I'm Clark Kent. That's all I had. That's all I had. Anyway, we get to the party. I don't know anything about this party. It's up in, where's Birds? Franklin? What's that area?
Franklin, yeah.
So it's up there.
Right, yeah.
But it's like you go, if you park, you go up this windy thing, up these steps,
Beechwood, like
Beechwood.
that kind of thing.
So I'm up there. We're walking around and get a drink, having fun. And this woman comes up to him, dressed like Gene Simmons. Giant wig, full make. Looked amazing.
Uh-huh.
She's like, hey, Rich, how you doing? Oh, hey, how you doing, Alanis? What's going on? Jason, this is Alanis. Alanis and Jason. It's Alanis Morissette.
Wow.
He said, oh, hey, how you doing?
Wow. That's awesome.
So we start talking, and she's got two other friends that are dressed like Peter Criss and Ace Frehley.
No.
Okay? What's his face? Who's the other one?
Paul.
Paul Stanley has not shown up yet, and she's getting a little irritated. She comes back to me and says, she's about to. She goes, do you like tequila? I said, well, Patron Silver. She's like, it's all I drink. She goes away, comes back. I'm talking to someone, nudges me, hands me a shot of Patron Silver. I do the shot, and by the way, I'm having a wonderful time, and I'm very charming. I want to be very clear about this. And then about 10, 15 minutes later, she comes up, nudges me again, hands me another shot. So I do 3 shots of Patron Silver in the course of like an hour or so. Oh. And I've had 2 vodka somethings. But I just want to be very clear about this. I'm having a really, really nice time.
But you're no longer charming, right?
Well, what happened was, at one point...
Isn't it ironic?
I'm outside. This is about 2 hours into the party. Rich is somewhere else, and I'm outside on the sort of little courtyard there, and I'm talking to a neighbor woman, and we're having a wonderful conversation.
Woman.
And she suddenly says, "So, how do you know Alanis or whoever the house is?" And I sort of went, it was like that. Nothing came out, and I went, and my head just went, ooh. And I remember her looking at me saying, "Are you okay? Like, do you need to sit down?" And the voice inside my head went, "How did that happen? Like, that just happened." No, I'm good. I'm fine. And so I think, you know what? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to sit down at this table.
Sit down's good.
Sit down, get my stuff together. And I'm by myself. No one's around. And I finally think, you know what? Something just clicks. I have to get home. I can't be here right now.
Get behind the wheel of a car.
Exactly. You know what I need right now? Keys to a car. And get on the road.
Perfect.
I get up and I head for what I think is inside the house and the exit, but I go the other way and there's a sheer drop. It's nothing but rocks down to the sidewalk.
Oh, great.
Where we walked up to get to the house.
No.
And I tumbled down, just like a movie. I tumble down like a lunatic. And I'm at the bottom and I climb all the way back up and there's one man in a toga. at top going, yeah, and he's like, going, yeah.
That was God.
And I do this, and I get all the way back up, and I sit from there 10 minutes. Now it's time I got to go.
Did you still have your kid glasses on? Or did
Well,
they
I had
fall
the
off?
glasses on. I had the time looking for a little rough.
This looks like a job for Al.
And I went to leave again, and I did it again. I fell down
my
a steep
gosh.
hill full of rocks again.
That's
And
like your
after that-
spirit guide, like
Telling you, yeah.
keeping you from killing yourself
I don't know. All I know is I woke
Wow.
up in City Hall.
or someone else.
Dressed like a werewolf. No. I don't remember how I got home, but I got home.
Wow.
And I had 17 messages on my. Hey, Jason, listen, it's Rich. Are you upstairs? Because I can't. I haven't found. Anyway, just give me a call.
Is that you at the bottom of the hill?
Hey, listen. Did you leave? Because I can't find you.
There's some gravel at the bottom of the hill that looks like you.
But I don't think Paul Stanley ever showed up. Is the moral of the
Right,
story?
wow.
I don't think that fourth
I wonder
friend.
who
So it
that
her
was. It was sort of like Andy
and two
Dick
other.
dressed as.
Because he
Paul
would have
Stanley.
showed
But
up.
it was all female. It was all female. It was her
Oh,
two female
that's
friends. And there was
cool.
a
Peter
and-
Chris might not have shown up, but
Peter,
but
no,
Paul would.
Paul would have, but
'Cause
female Paul
is a
didn't.
professional.
And you know, I saw them live a few years ago, and I was shocked at how good he sounded.
Oh, they're terrific.
But I'll tell you,
They're great.
the connection I do have with Kiss is that Paul Stanley is a huge fan of the small faces. And the mod thing is my thing, and the small
Yeah.
faces and everything. And he modeled his singing voice on Steve Marriott.
Oh,
the Small
wow.
Faces. And I told him that when I met him. I didn't tell him that. I said, hey, we got something to come. He's like, yeah. And I said, yeah.
Okay.
Steve Marriott.
We won't dwell too much on Kiss, but I just have to share this. When I first got to LA, I played a little game with myself, and I thought, this is what I'm going to do. The first celebrity that I see, that's going to be the level of fame that I'm going to reach. And I'm walking down the streets of LA, and I'm looking around, nothing for days. And I go into this bar, and who is sitting right in the booth next to me is Sherry Lewis.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, the level of fame of Sherry Lewis. Well, she was pretty popular.
She was big. She had a show.
And she did really well in her
really well.
career.
Household
Yeah.
name for a while.
I guess that's all right, but I wanted something a little sexier than that. The next day, I'm at Jerry's Deli. I walk in through the door. Who is right there leaving? Paul Stanley.
Wow.
Like, if I had just stayed inside
Wow.
the night before,
Yeah.
I could have been Paul Stanley.
You fucked up.
Wow.
Now you, and that's
By
why
the way,
you, that's
I'm
why you
not
gotta-
anywhere near the level of fame of Sherry Lewis.
Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Okay, not to dwell too much on Kiss, but let me bust this out because I won't forgive myself if I don't.
Do it.
But when I was a kid, I was maybe 11 years old, and I had an older cousin. He was a couple years older, and he was really into Kiss. And all I listened to was like the Chipmunks and soundtracks. But he brought over all his Kiss albums, and he forced me to listen to them. And I looked at the covers, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this isn't my kind of thing. But years later,
What was your kind of thing at the time?
Chipmunks and
Chipmunks.
soundtracks.
Chitty bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chitty,
Yes.
chitty, chitty bag man.
I love
That's the mafia version.
No, but years later,
Demon booze.
when I was working at Playboy, I'd had a few interesting people come into my office. One of them was Gene Simmons because he was launching a magazine called Tongue. And
Oh, yeah. I vaguely
I don't
remember
get
that.
it. What's the name about?
he was shooting a pictorial and the cover at the Playboy Mansion. And he wanted to book a bunch of playmates, and that's why he was in my office looking at the wall of headshots. And a few days later, we're at the shoot behind the game house at the mansion, and the shoot's going well enough, and I'm just sitting there on a lounge chair, and Gene Simmons is sitting next to me, and I've got my sunglasses on, and somebody snaps a picture, and I'm like, you know what? I'm harking back to when I was 10, and I'm thinking, if Jimmy could see me now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's cool.
when I was in junior high school, I was such a Kiss fan that my friends and I, we were going to have a fake Kiss concert in my backyard. We were going to dress up and we were going to lip sync and we are going to have fake, instruments and everything. And we're going to light some shit on fire when my parents were home. And we planned this whole thing. We told everybody about it. And then 2 days before, we're like, we're never going to get this together. So we canceled it. And then on the day, I think I made a drum kit. I made a Kiss drum kit, and that was it. And on the day, this one kid shows up at the door. Is this where the Kiss concert? No, my friend. I was like, oh.
But if it was,
I would have rocked.
It would have rocked. Sean, do you have a kiss story?
I don't actually, other than
all right.
other than enjoying.
Do you wanna know?
Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, which I like.
Not a complete disaster.
What?
Well, it
have
is,
you
but
watched it?
It's
No,
got-
but that's the fun of
But
it.
that's the fun of it,
it's
and it's got Anthony
entertaining.
Zerbe in it, and
Yeah.
isn't like
They shoot
isn't Ace
lasers at
Frehley's
monsters.
stuntman like
He's a
African
black guy.
American?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like 2 feet taller.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put that
It's
in a
perfect.
All right, let's
So perfect.
wheel it back.
And when
here.
they're sunbathing in their full outfits,
Yeah.
that's pretty
It's
good.
So,
Can I
so
just- can I just jump on- can I just-
for listeners who don't know, so Kiss, because they were so big, they were so popular, they did this. It was a
TV
so
movie.
big.
TV
They did a
movie.
piece of
Produced
shit,
by Hanna-Barbera.
hour long.
Yeah, and it was such a big deal. But the weird thing was, my understanding is, the actual Kiss guys didn't want to be on set very much.
Well,
or,
there's a lot
Well,
of
there were-
stand-ins and stunt doubles.
And there was also some substance abuse, and I think
I'm
people
sure, yeah.
slept through their call times.
yeah,
And they had no creative control. Had they, it would have been a much different.
Who can fit the boots?
Who
Yeah,
can fit the
right.
boots? My first celebrity sighting when I moved to LA.
Yeah.
Not the thing where like whoever I see. I'm
Okay,
gonna try to
okay,
be,
okay.
But my first sighting ever, Don Novello
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Really? Huh? That's
at
cool.
at the Dresden.
He didn't do bad.
Yeah.
No, but
He
I
had
mean,
his time.
I was like, I turned around. I was there for a week, and there's Don Novello, and I went,
Yeah, you might know him as Father Guido Sarducci from
handsome
SNL.
boy model in school.
and maybe we could talk more about that on our Celebrity Encounters show.
I just
but this
thought
is
I'd
our,
Okay,
jump
all right.
on this
So let's
Halloween.
let's
This is
jump
our
back into
Halloween,
Halloween
yes.
here.
Let's get into Halloween. Why don't we? You want to? Do, I'm sorry. It's your show.
What should we do?
because
No,
I
no.
have a huge list here.
All right, let's do
Hey,
it.
Larry,
But, you know,
go.
Hey,
Larry,
wait,
let's
give me
wait,
something.
Sean, are you looking at my photos?
Let's do your list.
Okay, no, well, I just wanted to say
Larry,
something about. Okay,
You
listen,
brought them.
okay.
Let's
if
do your
I,
list.
I just wanted to do two
do
things.
your
What,
list.
one thing,
Please talk about something from your list.
Talk about something from your list.
inappropriate costumes.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta be
Inappropriate.
honest. It's not what I thought would be on your list.
Okay, well, here's why.
I did not think
Here's
the word
why.
inappropriate
So
would be
I'm
anywhere
going
on
through,
the list.
and of course, my family. I have these two older brothers. Kind of mean to me. But then I also have two brothers and two sisters who are younger than me. Okay.
Right.
And we were going through photo albums, and we came across these photos of my two older brothers. It must have been around 1966, 67. I mean, I wasn't even going out trick or treating, and somehow my parents threw my two brothers into these two outfits, and one,
Oh, boy.
yes,
Cherub.
no,
Can we show these on the radio?
Peeing cherub.
I know. I don't know about this one, but I'll say one of them was dressed as like
The Lindbergh baby.
no. Remember
Alive.
Remember like the
The
Frito
Lindbergh baby
Frito
alive.
Bandito kind of. And,
That's good.
And
That's
he had,
good.
and so one of my older brothers had the big long mustache and the giant sombrero.
By
And
the way,
at the
let's be
time,
clear, he was a bandit, and he worked for Frito in Mexico.
yeah.
What's bad with Frito Bandito? It's
Well,
like-
let's just say that in the '60s, hey, that might have been kind of funny, but now it's just.
But then you add meth.
and it gets really funny.
Yeah.
And then there was a Halloween party I went to. This was like back in the '80s, and this friend of mine will never listen to this show, I'm sure. But she decided to dress up as Diana Ross, and
Okay.
and yeah,
All right.
and it just
You have to edit this in post, I think.
No?
Can't be on this show. Of course you can. Yes, of course.
Okay, so there's just
Well,
time ago.
but you're describing somebody else's costume.
yeah,
so-
exactly.
This wasn't me.
No.
No, this was
Right.
and people did. I mean, people did.
Oh, yeah.
Was she African American or was it a blackface thing?
It was a blackface.
Oh.
thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That, okay,
And
now I see.
again, it's like the '80s. Hey,
But I'll bet
But-
you she loved Diana Ross.
she did,
and that was
she did.
Yeah,
There you go.
She and still does.
yeah and it's
And does
it's
it
a
every-
tough one when you have
Does
to
it every year?
that look
Still does.
The minute you put on the blackface, you're pushing some buttons. No matter how much you might love that
Yeah,
particular celebrity you're impersonating.
It's funny that you say that because this will come around to something I had on my list to talk about as far as like creepy, scary, weird stuff. But I think you might know where I'm going with this. But
I don't.
It's your show. You tell
But
me.
go,
what's-
talk about it now.
Well, no, you were talking about-
You're the
you were
one
talking
who
about-
threw a wrench
All right.
into the natural flow.
No,
the ley lines
because we
of
were
this
talking about
podcast.
TV stuff,
Yeah?
and
Sure,
TV specials and stuff. And rather than talk about the Charlie Brown thing, which we did, and the thing with the thing, and the
Kiss.
and the kiss, I'm a huge fan of League of Gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh, yes.
So Reese Shearsmith and Mark Gatiss and Steve Pemberton, and then after that, and Jeremy Dyson. But after that, Reese Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton did a show called Psychoville.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you told
Which
me
is
about
insane.
that
It's
one. right?
great.
Yeah.
Totally insane. Well, they did a Halloween episode, so I think you can find it on like YouTube or something. But
Yeah.
if you haven't seen Psychoville, you should because it's completely mental.
Is that the
Yeah,
one
and that's a
kinda
great.
like
That's a great special.
It's a great special.
Is it kind of like an ode to like the Amicus anthologies? Is that the
well,
one?
well,
think I've
The
seen that one.
Christmas special of League of Gentlemen is more the Amicus.
yes,
Maybe that's the
anthology.
that's much.
Okay.
That's much more like a portmanteau.
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. So there's that, but there's a character in League of Gentlemen called
Papa Lazaro.
Lazaro,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
think is terrifying.
Terrifying and really
And
funny.
very
Yeah.
funny. But just then, and they have that way, which is very difficult with creepy comedy, spooky stuff. Is like they take it right to the edge of like you're laughing and
Uncomfortable.
you're also kind of scary and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and it's something
yeah.
that you go,
Yeah.
it's not that, but it's different, and it's like it's just there's something really
Well, and Papa Lazaro is supposed to be, he's like this guy who looks, obviously to the naked eye, he looks like a white guy in blackface.
right.
But in the storyline of the show, you're not really sure if that's necessarily what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm trying to remember if it was the following season where you find out he's somebody else
He's
under
somebody else he's-
under that.
But on that
But
note,
a great character.
Same world. There's a show that Reese Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton have done called Inside Number 9, which I've told them
Brilliant.
about.
I've
many
watched
times.
all of them. They're great.
What is that?
Well, it's basically their idea is each episode is a standalone story, 22-minute, 30-minute thing. The only through line is the number 9. So the camera could push in and it's a house number 9 or it's a warehouse or it's a restaurant or something. Then the entire story takes place in that setting. And it can be a historical thing, it can be in a karaoke room, it can be in a restaurant, it can be anything. And it goes all over the place. There was one that's kind of like a Salem witch trial kind of thing, and it's very you're sort of it's
interesting.
Hitchcockian and it's dark and then it's funny, etc. Well, they did a Halloween episode last year that aired live.
That is great.
That aired live on the BBC, which I don't want to say anything about because you should find it.
Okay.
But when it went live, it blew up Twitter because what they do in this show is so brilliant with the way it was broadcast.
And considering that it's done live too, and it's
Yeah.
messing with the structure of the storyline of the episode.
Yeah.
So you think it's going one way, and then there's like kind of a meta turn
yeah.
Huh.
that
it's
is
Inside
so
number-
brilliant, so great.
Isn't it great?
I love that
I'm
episode.
so glad you saw that.
So Jason,
Inside Number 9 Halloween
Inside-
special.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
From
what's it
last
called
year.
again?
Inside Number 9 Halloween special,
To
which
look-
I think
all right.
you can find
Cool.
on
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
maybe,
Cool.
something like that.
Check it out.
On a similar note, I know that we're going to talk about movies and stuff, and I know, and obviously, Larry, anytime you want to grab anything,
Yeah,
from
whatever your
your
list is.
I'm totally with you.
Me
but
too.
if I can bring up one movie because you reminded me of this, which is the movie that I've been telling everybody about, is One Cut of the Dead. It's 2017, and it was written and directed by Shinichiro Ueda. It's Ueda. I'm always a little confused when it comes to Japanese pronunciations. James?
Probably Ueda. Yeah.
Okay. But this thing, really low budget movie, made for like 3 million yen, which is like 25 grand.
that was like $25.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's what's so great about this film is the premise is, so it starts and you see this roughly half hour zombie film that's all done in one take.
Okay. I
And
like
so
it already.
You're watching that, and that's great. And the storyline of that movie is that it's about some people who are making a zombie film,
Okay.
and a real zombie outbreak happens.
Oh.
So there's that. So that's kind of
Okay.
a fun storyline. Then you get the one take thing,
Okay.
and there's all these kind of weird things that happen, and then it ends. And then it cuts to 6 months earlier. There's this director who has been called to make this movie that's one cut, this zombie movie, to premiere the Zombie Channel. And he's this director who's kind of known for being a little bit of a schlocky director, doesn't have a lot of respect, but they know that he'll get it done and get it in on time. And so the rest of the movie is him planning it all out, casting it. He gets like a J-pop star who's really difficult and has to deal with that person's ego. And then he has another guy who's like a drunk and having to wrangle all these people. His daughter is this up-and-coming filmmaker who feels like she's not really getting the respect that she deserves. So there's also this nice family drama involved in it too, behind the scenes. And the director's wife ends up being put in the movie.
Oh my God.
And so then you get the behind the scenes, the background of while they're shooting the movie, all the little quirky things that you see
payoffs
when you're watching. Yeah, exactly.
So like their payoffs behind, it's backwards.
Exactly.
Payoffs. I
and
love
it's
it.
done so.
One cut of the dead.
Yeah.
What year? Do you know what year?
2017.
Okay. I'm on it.
And obviously it's made a gazillion bucks because it's really popular in Japan. It's actually made it over here. It's on Shudder. And
is it on Shudder?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
And
I love Shudder.
it's so good.
Oh,
it's
great.
James, you've seen it, right?
Not yet.
You haven't seen it?
Still have to
Oh,
watch
my
it.
God.
Yeah.
So it's a great Halloween movie because it's got the zombie thing, but it's fun. And the behind the scenes story is actually inspiring. And by the end of it, you really kind of feel good about life. And it's just terrific.
That's pushing it.
Cool.
I'm telling
It's
you.
going to take a lot to
I'm
make me
telling
feel
you,
good about life.
I actually felt
I'm
something.
willing to give it a try. You finally felt
I finally felt something.
human emotion.
It's been 17 years.
akin to human emotion.
Yeah.
Wow.
No shit. Well, while we're talking about, can I jump in with a movie?
Yeah.
Because I was talking to people the last couple days. Scary movie, scary movie. What do you think about scary movies? And everyone says, oh, I think this, I think this.
Right.
And I say, I know it's cliche, but I have to say, The Exorcist is still my favorite.
Sure.
Scariest. It gets better every
it's
time I
great.
see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's brilliant.
Holds
it
up.
takes its time, etc. But the thing that no one talks about, which I'm going to champion because I think your listeners care and I think they're interested in stuff,
I know where you're going. I agree.
is Exorcist 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've championed this myself
Yeah.
on the show.
It
before.
is such an underrated horror movie.
really is.
Super
Nobody-
creepy.
Super creepy as shit. Now, there is this Blu-ray that has the director's cut. I think I might prefer the original cut.
I
Really?
agree.
Because I
But
feel
there's-
I feel the director's thing doesn't add a ton and it gets a little jumbled.
It's like over-explained kind of a thing? or-
kind of like
It's a little bit indulgent, and even though they added the whole Nicole Williamson as the
Yes,
other exorcist,
'cause
that
it's
was,
in
and that
one
was obviously
scene.
added on,
Right,
but I didn't
exactly.
mind it,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize that Brad Dourif.
Yeah.
They reshot his
Yes,
entire
yeah.
long monologue because they.
It's an incredible story.
Yeah,
how
like I
this thing
forget
happened.
why. Like
Yeah.
Blatty wasn't happy with it or something, but like Brad Dourif does this whole long, like almost one take
Yeah,
scene.
he's incredible
Mano
in
y
it.
mano with
George C. Scott.
George C. Scott.
Tracy Scott, and for some reason they had to redo it or something. But I agree though. I think the movie, because it's a different enough movie from the original Exorcist,
Yeah.
but still is connected to that
It's
in a very
connected
unique
to it.
way.
It manages, and I think that this is the thing that I think it's been its weakness, or that people sort of. It's so atmospheric and so good and so disturbing, just not like nightmare, but just weird and freaky. That the payoff, either version, the payoff is never going to be as good
True.
as
There's such a
the journey that
tension
you sort
and
of
dread
take.
that he
There is-
creates.
There is a dread in this thing.
And I still
Yeah.
think one of the best shock scares.
oh,
And if you,
good
I
God.
don't really want to say it.
No.
It is
Jeez. Oh.
I saw this at a screening,
Oh.
full audience, and I've never seen an audience in unison jump.
Even when
It's
you
so
know
good.
even when you know
I
it's
know
coming.
it's the way it's done.
It is.
Oh.
It makes you look over your shoulder. You
Jason,
you
good.
jump.
Let me
So
ask you a
good.
question.
Yes, please.
Okay, so
Yes.
you're raving about The Exorcist 3.
Yes,
okay?
I am.
We all love The Exorcist, the first one.
Yeah.
Would you suggest that someone watch 1, 2, and then 3, or just go from 1 to 3?
1 to 3.
1 to 3. I
Don't
it's
even
too
bother with
direct.
The
It's a
Exorcist 2,
direct.
The Heretic.
Exorcist
forget
2
it.
is like a curio. It's just so
Yeah.
insane.
It's like a TV movie.
I
It's
do
so
find it
weird.
entertaining though, if in the right
Oh,
mood.
come on.
It's bizarre.
Well,
it's
look,
insane.
but-
so
on
a
the-
double feature with that and Beast of Hollow Mountain.
yeah.
But on the level of like when you talk about when you
Yeah.
said the Kiss Phantom of the Park thing,
Yeah.
it's like you go in and you're like, yeah, but there's as a curio.
Yeah.
And a great Morricone
Exorcist
score.
2, when you
Yeah.
think about the
Yeah.
level
It's
that the
dull.
first one is at, and then what was this thing? What
That's
was
the
they
thing. That's why
thinking?
it was like it's such a train wreck.
It's
That I
such
find
a
it
train wreck.
fascinating.
So
And
boring.
There's
The
not
bugs,
one.
the big
There's not
bugs
one
and
right
the
decision
things
made.
with
It's
the-
like it's.
Well, it's also, John Borman. He's not
John
exactly an
Borman.
auteur, but he's an interesting director. And even one of his flops is
Yes,
going to be interesting.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
I love
to watch.
him,
Yeah.
but that one is awful.
It's no Zardoz.
Now Zardoz.
Now Zardoz.
Zardoz.
There's
Now
a
that's
show.
the
I
costume.
genuinely-
that someday.
Yes.
But I'm working
If
out.
Weinhold does that, I will be at that party. You don't need to work out, pal. Just get it on the books.
Now,
I will be at that party.
For listeners, if you're not familiar with Zardoz,
Here's a picture.
Just look it up. Sean Connery in a very unique
nappy.
Yeah.
costume.
Who could
outfit.
make guns and a diaper work?
A red
That would be-
red diaper.
Matt, if you go
We need the
as-
hairiest man alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
and
you
also
dress up
a
as
giant ponytail.
If you dress up as Sean Connery and Zardoz, I'll dress up as Charlotte Rampling.
Oh, it's on.
Wow.
It's on. Well, and we've never talked about the prequel to The Exorcist, which was actually, there were two versions of, right? Because Paul Schrader was in
Right.
charge of the first
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Right.
Both terrible.
I
Did you
think
see
they
them?
shot, but I don't
Yeah.
really remember it at all. Really.
No, but I'm amazed
Again,
any of us have seen it.
I saw one version. I forget which one, but it was kind of like, like it
Well, it's
wasn't
more like The Exorcist, the true story, like that kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
and they did
Backstory with
they
Father
did a
Merrin.
TV series.
Yeah, Gina Davis.
That I hear is great.
I
I've
watched
not watched
the first
it.
one and it was like
No?
but
Okay.
I don't. But it didn't last very long, right? I mean,
Look,
think it's- no,
you're
one
up
season?
against it if you're trying to even get in the neighborhood of that
Yeah,
first
true,
movie. There's
true.
no way to do it.
they
So
should
the
do like
thing
a
that's-
Saturday morning cartoon. That'd be better.
Yeah, exactly. With songs.
yeah.
The thing about the third one that's so interesting is that it does manage to give you this. It's never going to be in that same vein, but it
No.
gives you this sense of strangeness and creepiness, and the hospital stuff.
The hospital.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of things that are just conceptually
Is it the Gemini killer? Or
The Gemini
Yeah.
killer
Oh,
and
the
the
way the
Doris' voice
And some,
and
some
the-
of it is just the way they describe what
Yeah.
the killer has
Right.
done is so disturbing.
the blood,
you know-
the things of blood, and the
It's funny, like Tom Holland, when he was talking about having to do Psycho 2.
yeah.
And
Right.
just knowing he was just going to get pummeled. No matter what he
right,
did.
right.
You can't win.
There's no way you're going to win.
Can't win.
And I would think that it was even harder for Exorcist 3 because then you already had Exorcist 2.
Oh, yeah.
That everybody was disappointed with.
Sure.
And I think most people were thinking, well, you can't really do a sequel of
But
this.
it was William Peter Blatty directing it this time too,
Yeah.
from his novel.
And it came out. It was a summer movie that year, 90 or
1990,
whatever it was.
yeah.
It was a summer movie. Nobody cared. It barely got a release. And it
I
was
know.
that thing that sort of took some time for people to catch up to. All right, here's
Yep,
one
that's
for
a
you
good one.
guys, because you're all movie freaks. You love all kinds of stuff. I'm a big Hammer fan.
Oh yeah,
I think we all dig the Hammer.
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
sure.
Big time.
So we could sit here and talk about Hammer. But
We
why?
have.
We have. You have. Have we talked about Amicus?
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
of course.
right.
Well, we
Love
we had
Amicus.
an episode that was all about anthology films. So.
Okay, so the portmanteau. The portmanteau.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about a British movie called Dead of Night?
Oh yes,
Anyone?
classic.
Yes?
Yeah.
Look at this. This is
That-
why I
that-
love coming on this show.
Dead of Night, which is kind of like the one that got it all going.
Isn't it sort of the Godfather
Yeah.
of the portmanteau?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
The date on it, Sean, it's like 1940,
1945.
45. Yeah.
And it was
Different
Michael
directors.
Redgrave, different directors, right? And the wraparound of, I've had this strange dream, and you're all in it.
Right.
These
Right.
people all come to a hotel, kind of,
Yes, yes.
and they all kind of encounter. I had this strange dream, and they all kind of like talk
Yes.
about the dream, and there's some pretty creepy things.
Which, by the way, we've talked about on occasion doing a Monster Party movie, like a fictional,
Like
monster,
making a movie?
yeah,
Really?
and doing it as an anthology movie.
I love it.
And we're all doing the podcast, and the topic is dreams. And so we each talk about our dream, and it relates to our personalities.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I
That's a
remember
great
that.
film, though. Really well produced. Very
Great movie, and
atmospheric.
I think it was my dad was a big, it was a strange relationship, and he was an interesting person and everything. But I always say that if not for him, there's a lot of stuff that like Day of the Earth Stood Still, and
Right.
Bogart movies and things that he took me to and stuff. And I remember Dead of Night coming on TV one night, and he stopped and he was like, "We have to watch this movie." And he knew it from I don't know when.
Huh? Really?
And I was a kid, and man, the final
Yeah, it's still
Yes,
chilling.
yes.
gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
And it still got a punch. It still
Yeah.
packs a punch, that thing.
agree.
Jason, the funny thing is, I didn't see Dead of Night till it's like the early 2000s. And I happened to see it at the Egyptian because it was Forey Ackerman's favorite film. It was his big advertisement.
Was that his favorite movie?
That was one of his favorite, like one of his
way.
top 10.
Really?
And there's an amazing poster, and I didn't know about the film, and so I got to see it with Forey, and it was a packed house on a big screen. And that sequence that
that's
you're
pretty
talking
cool.
about, even as an adult, still gives me chills thinking about. And this is a film that was made in 1945.
Yeah.
and it's
Is this the ventriloquist dummy sequence?
Yeah, that's the
Well,
the chilling.
good night, everybody. So
Is
much
that
for
a spoiler?
Yeah.
That's not a
I'm kidding.
That's not a spoiler.
All right. So you talk about Amicus.
No, wait a minute. You're
You think
gonna now
so
bring up
smart?
a third film?
No, I was going to mention Tygon. Have we
yeah.
talked about those? Have you done
Sure,
it?
the
Tycho.
Ghoul and
Witchfinder General.
It's
what's
classic?
Blood on
Is it-
Satan's Claw.
I think was it
Cry of the Banshee?
Cry
of
of
the
the
Banshee?
Maybe Beast in the Cellar, possibly.
The Beast Must
Beast
Die?
Must Die, I think was no. That was.
Oh no, that's
that
not.
was Amicus.
That's
That was
Amicus.
Amicus,
That's
yeah.
Amicus.
Yeah, no, Tygon did a lot
Do you know
of.
Blood on Satan's Claw?
Oh yeah,
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
that's a great one.
This is why I love.
Yeah,
Claw.
I've got that right now. I've got that on my DVR. They played it on
yeah?
something. Yeah.
I've got it. in my
Tell us
hands
about
right
Linda
now.
Hayden.
Right
Tell
now,
us
I got it
about
in
the
my
blood on
pants.
Satan's Claw.
No.
Is there blood on Satan's claw?
There's so much blood on Satan's Claw.
How big is the claw?
They have tried to get it out many times.
They even use Barnami.
They use bleach.
No, that's a good.
But
that's one of the
Amicus-
better
Amicus-
witchcraft films in the 70s.
when it comes to
yes.
the anthology movies.
Yes. Well, I'm going somewhere.
There were
with this.
so many great Amicus
Yes.
ones. I've liked all of them, really.
Okay,
They're
all
too
right.
greater
kinda-
or less.
they age well.
Probably my favorite one is Tales from the Crypt, but
Okay.
the ones that I've also enjoyed, like From Beyond the Grave,
House That Drip Blood.
House of Drip Blood is great. They're all really fun.
And now the screaming starts.
Dr. Terror's House of Horror.
Okay, now we were talking about Inside Number 9 and Psychoville and League of Gentlemen, all this stuff. You're a big Steve Coogan fan.
Yeah.
I know you're a Coogan
Oh
fan.
yes, Doctor.
Dr. Terrible's House of Horror.
Horrible. That's what it is. Okay.
It is hit or miss, yes, but when it works, I think it's wonderful. And that he's playing a different character in every one.
Yeah,
and
no, it's
and it's
great.
their homage to Hammer and Amicus and all that stuff. And they have one. It's called "And Now the Fearing."
And
which
now
I
the
think-
fear. Is that the one in the elevator?
That's the one in the elevator.
And that
One of
is the best one.
It is such
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great
Yeah, that's
title.
that's
When they
it's
view-
shot, it's shot like a 70s Amicus.
Yes.
film,
The Fu
when they
Manchu
veer-
one I thought was good too.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
When they veer away from what Amicus did is when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
stick to the thing that you're
They
parodying.
did like a lesbian vampire one was kind of cool.
Yes, that
You
was a
know,
good
Yeah.
one too.
that was
And
cool.
frankly, the wraparound is the best
Is
thing
the
in the
best
show.
Yeah,
part.
yes.
If that could have been 10 minutes of each show.
You could have done a series. You should have done a
He's-
series like
yeah,
that. He's
yeah.
so great.
He's so great.
It's such a great character.
yeah.
I love
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I was going to say Hammer House of Horror, the
Oh, those
TV
are great.
series.
Those are all
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
And I think most of those you can
Okay, well, I
get
guess
now on
I guess
Am-
you guys know everything. I'm just gonna,
but I mean, I think most of those are playing like
Yes,
on
that's
Amazon
right.
now,
That's
and
right.
Yeah, yeah.
and
That's good.
any of those are good
Because
fun
it's
for
great
Halloween
British
viewing.
actors, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
and a bit of nudity that I didn't realize
They
was
get a
allowed
little risque. Yeah.
which
to
you can-
happen.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to maybe say something controversial if we're talking about movies, because
Oh.
I'll bet almost the whole table is going to poo-poo this.
Uh-oh.
But we are talking Hammer. Here's a popular one, Sleepy Hollow. Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
I love that movie.
I love
I love that movie.
One of the
I
few
think
Tim
that-
Burton movies that
I agree.
I think
Totally
is
agree.
great.
Totally agree.
I love
I got
it.
no problems with that movie whatsoever.
I think that
Me
movie,
too.
it's 20 years
Yep.
later, it holds up.
Me too. I
It looks beautiful.
I think it's
Yeah.
great.
amazing.
When he is in his
When
Yes.
he's on,
arena,
he's
Yes.
on. Yeah.
he's terrific.
I
It's
agree.
just not that
Yeah.
often,
I
unfortunately.
agree.
I do have a couple little issues with it, but it's little.
All right.
What are your issues?
You're allowed.
And, well,
What? Spit it out. We wanna
What
know.
How can you steer a horse without,
Without
any
a
head?
head?
no.
Here we go.
No, I have no problem with that.
Here we go.
My issue is, first of all, the
How
whole
can a hollow be sleepy?
No, I understand the whole story of Ichabod Crane and how he's frightened by the headless horseman. I get
Yes.
it, and he has this, scared thing inside of him, and I get it. What I really liked, is how Ichabod was this guy who was trying to use science to solve
Yeah,
crime.
me too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I
too.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the moment when he does encounter the headless horseman, and then he goes up into the bedroom and he has the whole shivering attack, to me it didn't really fit the character. To me, he shouldn't have been that terrified, because I think he would have kept going into science can explain it.
Wait a minute.
What?
What if all your life you've relied on science,
Yes.
and then you're
see
faced
something that you just
with the
can't.
supernatural, and that you believe it to be real now? That would shake your entire
Foundation.
worldview.
Yes.
Yes,
And-
that's what always gets me. By the way, about most horror movies is that there's so many horror movies where the supernatural thing happens to a family, and then in the epilogue of the film, everyone's like, "Okay, well, now we're gonna move to our new
Well, that's
place."
that's
Right,
like
right,
that.
right,
That's like the Dana
right.
Scully syndrome of X
Yeah,
Files.
yeah, it's like,
after
no,
a
no.
while.
The first time
That would freak you out.
when
Yeah,
you finally realize the supernatural is real and it's happening to you,
How futile
Right,
your
right.
life
yeah,
is.
you
Yes.
might be shaken a little bit.
Well, and he
Right.
also, he's coming into the atmosphere of everyone else believing it already.
Right, exactly.
He's
Right,
Mr.
that's true.
Science.
Yes.
And by the way, I think Depp's wonderful in that movie.
He's great.
no, he is
I
great.
love that movie.
He just. Oh, I'm so glad. That's good.
Love
that's
it.
good to
Yeah,
hear.
that's
I
really
think
good.
it's like 20th anniversary this year. I think.
Oh, really?
And
Really?
it's-
Already?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Christopher Walken is great.
Yeah, he's
I,
fantastic.
I
Yeah.
think he's great.
And it's funny.
Do you have the figure?
The bits
Yeah.
of the bits of humor in it are great. It's a great figure.
You can get the figure with his
with
head.
his head.
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The figure's
Great
cool.
figure.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, what are throw some movies
Yeah,
out.
give us your list
Yeah.
here.
some quintessential movies that you
Well, actually, I actually didn't. I wanted to stay away from stuff that I had discussed in the
Right,
past.
yeah.
Okay.
I actually had more costume stuff. I mean,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
I don't know how many of you have, other brothers and sisters who, because there's so many of you, your parents throw you in costumes, or you create your own costumes, and your parents take a photo of you. I mean, what?
The only person who throws me in costumes is sitting at this table right here.
I pay you good money for
Yes,
that.
and it works out well. but
It's funny.
No one else throws me in costumes.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I look back to all of those wonderful Halloweens,
Mm-hmm.
and because my parents had the 7 kids, and of course my
7 kids?
the 7s, yes, and the 2 older brothers, they got to the point
Swiss
where,
Family Strothe.
yeah, they would, make booby traps for kids, or when the rest of us
We can't
would,
afford these kids.
we
We
would
gotta get rid of a couple.
No, we would
Make a booby
dress
trap,
up
honey.
in outfits, and I was looking through some of these old photos, and I thought to myself as I looked through them, oh my gosh, one of my younger brothers was really ahead of the curve here, because. Okay, so here I am. I'm about 11, and I'm a monster. I'm Dracula. What's really great about my Dracula outfit? It's basically a suit with a cape, and I've got the fangs. The
Sure,
fangs,
yeah,
the
yeah.
fangs that you've got.
Oh, yeah,
and I put
yeah,
vampire
absolutely.
blood on my face. But the cape. My mom was a nurse in San Francisco, and any of the nurses back in the 40s and the 50s, you would always get this giant black and gray cape. It was black on the outside and gray on the inside.
right.
Well, that cape became my vampire cape, but it was like I used it. I mean, all of the kids, we all used my mom's nurse cape, but it was a vampire cape to me,
Nice.
And I've got this great photo of me in the vampire cape next to my younger brother and sister. My sister is, a lovely princess, I guess, but my brother, my brother he's actually dressed up as Captain America. And what's amazing about this is, if I remember correctly, he made some of this himself. Some of it, I think my mom cut the A, but it's like a giant,
What about the shield?
He made that. It was like a cardboard
Wow.
shield.
Wow.
But it was funny. I mean, my mom stapled the wings on the side. I think it might have been a giant.
What year are you talking?
This is like I was 11, so it was like 77 maybe.
That's fantastic. He look, you know what he looks
76,
like?
yes.
He looks like the Captain America Mego figures.
Yeah, he does. He
He's
does.
got the same
But I
colors.
meant
That's good. I like that.
I mentioned to him. I said, you know what? The funny thing is, as a kid, when I saw comics, I never thought the Iron Man costume was cool. I never thought the Captain America was cool. I thought Spider-Man was cool, and we always saw Spider-Mans, but
Yeah.
I rarely saw kids dressed up as Captain
Yeah,
America.
it's a harder one
and
to
here
do.
we are in 2019 when Captain America, it's actually one of my favorite superhero
Sure.
now.
Sure.
And my brother, I wanted to say, he was ahead. He
cool.
knew that this character was cool before he got to be cool in the new MCU universe.
Okay, tangent. Do you know the Ben Cooper Spider-Man costume story?
No, why don't you fill me?
Well, I'm not.
Oh,
I
good.
don't. Well, okay. Nah, I'm not going to do. I think people
it,
should just.
yeah.
No, I think people should look it up. I'm just going to say that.
give us broad
that-
strokes.
Oh, broad strokes are a few years back, somebody had discovered a Spider-Man costume, Spider, no dash, Spider, and then the next word man, made by Ben Cooper, that preceded the creation of the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko character.
no.
And this broke, I don't know, it was like 5-6 years ago or so. And
I learned it from him.
and long story short, they've got shots of these catalogs and the things, and it's hard to explain without having the photos in front of you. There are certain things in the design of the costume that you kind of go, okay, that's interesting. But then there's one that I think is a few years later, again, prior to the actual comic, that is very close. That has webbing. Some of the coloring is kind of the same. There's not a thing on the chest necessarily, but the original one from '58 has a spider on the chest, but
Yeah.
it's yellow and black or whatever. And so the theory that started to bounce around was that, well, the Ben Cooper offices that would have had these in the window were not that far from the Marvel offices.
Wow.
Is it possible that Ditko, on his way to work, saw this thing, blah, 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 blah.
Stuck in his head.
So then when they created Spider-Man. That's why there's a hyphen between Spider and Man. And there became this immediate agreement between Ben Cooper and Marvel to do all costumes for all the characters.
No.
That's kind
again,
of the theory, right?
This is a theory. It's out there. The information's out there.
That's
But
fascinating.
the proof of the costumes that existed prior, it's solid proof.
Right.
Whether the worlds collided or not, it's hard to say. But there's enough there where you go.
That's a great story.
Wow.
It's pretty, and it came out of nowhere like 4 or 5 years ago. Some guy found this one costume, and they started digging, and it was like it would put everything into flux that for years. I mean, regardless of what you think of Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, their whole thing, and all these years, what if it was like, well, wait a minute, did Ditko get the idea for the visuals
Right.
walking past this Ben Cooper thing? But it could all be, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying there's an interesting story out there,
yeah.
but it's Halloween, it's costumes, it's Spider-Man.
Nice. That's
Interesting
amazing.
to look up, yeah. Since you guys know everything, there's something that maybe
We do know
Now
everything.
we know everything.
we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Here's something, speaking of costumes and stuff. Did you guys have Woolworths growing up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I remember a Woolworths in the Maplewood Mall in St. Paul. When you walked through the door, mid-September, early October, and you'd walk through the front door, and to the right, rubber masks, rubber monsters on things,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
candy, the whole thing, and the smell.
Yeah.
The smell of rubber masks, and they had the danglers, the
Yeah.
Jigglers.
Jigglers.
the
Yes.
jigglers, the Wolfman and the Frankenstein, and everything.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the creature, mummy.
and you
Yeah.
just get lost in this stuff. Just,
Yeah.
That rubber smell and
Oh,
the smell
yeah.
of those Ben Cooper masks.
Oh.
It really is. It just.
It's sense memory.
It really does. Yeah.
Olfactory.
totally.
It launches you on a journey into your
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Whenever I smell that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I brought in a jiggler last week. If you were here, you could have smelled it, and it would have brought you. Yeah, it would have brought you back to that time, the '70s.
I literally have about 4 jokes to follow that up with. I'm not going to go there.
It's
Out of
funny. You
respect
mentioned
for
this.
Halloween.
Just go right to the A stuff.
But you
What was your
mentioned
name?
you mentioned the smell of the rubber, the mask, and the smell of the candy. I've mentioned
Yeah,
this
yeah.
about at Ben Franklin, close to my house.
Oh, so you
right
had
around
Ben
the
Franklin.
But the funny thing is, there was a special glass case, and in the glass case, right at like mid-September,
Yeah.
they had a whole case full of these candy pumpkins, and by Brock's.
Here we go.
And I brought
yeah.
a package here because
Is that from the time?
no, from 1970? No, this is fresh.
I wish.
But if there's anything I love, guys, it's the Brock's pumpkins. It's the mellow cream.
You really
pumpkins.
do like this.
I love these.
I like the mellow creams,
I-
but I'll tell you something.
What?
Does anyone remember the Harvest mix?
Yeah,
mix?
yes.
What's that?
I mean, they still
Okay.
make Harvest Mix.
No, they
but yeah.
They make Harvest Mix. They don't make it with the other 3 or 4 little things that
Oh,
there
I
were.
see. What
it
other
used to
things?
be a broom
'Cause they were
and
racist?
a cat, right? And Papa Lazarou, and
No,
little
come
Mickey
on.
Rooney from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay, no. Come on, no.
Everything you
Jason,
couldn't
come
make
on.
now they made,
Jason.
and it was
yes,
delicious.
I
No, tell me,
remember.
delicious little
Okay.
racial.
The-
things.
No,
Yes.
come on. No.
Zulu themed.
No.
They made.
Guys.
They had a cat. It was like a little black
Okay.
cat.
Yes.
And they had like a ghost.
Yes.
Well, then they stopped making it. They
Yes.
make the Harvest Mix, and now it's just like a pumpkin and a piece
Candy
of candy
corn.
corn.
Yeah, and different
and
colored candy
a
corn.
dead child who's been hit.
No, it's not a
The
dead
The dead
no.
child, probably
I
the
think-
tastiest thing in that bag.
I think
thing.
it's a leaf. I think it's a leaf.
Tastes like Satan's claw.
But I see. I don't
Tastes
go
like
for
fried
that. I
Satan's
go
claw.
when I was when I was a kid and I
Blood
went to
on
Ben
fried Satan's
Franklin
claw.
and I saw those pumpkins, man. I didn't have the money to get those, and I remember asking,
is there possible? You know why I love
hey,
you?
Can I tell the story?
Yeah.
Look, I'm talking. Let me
him-
finish, and then you
It'll
can.
be
then
much
you,
easier
I
to
love
just
these
let him
okay.
go.
No, but just I go into the store and you want to ask
Buster Brown with his
may
little-
I have a sample of that pumpkin?
You talk like that?
And they look at
Sample?
it. Yeah, like if you can get one pumpkin to see if it tastes like this tastes good.
Were you,
And
were you a street urchin at this point? I forget.
no.
Were you blind? You're blind.
No.
Oh, you weren't. Okay,
No.
I'm sorry. Finish.
But it's like I felt like I couldn't do
I'll
it
trade
because
you one of my
I-
pencils.
Because I go into Ben Franklin all the time. They know, you're that
pumpkin
kid. You just
piece.
want
So-
a free pumpkin candy pumpkin.
Wait a minute, wait. So they would actually give you a sample?
No, they would
They
not.
wouldn't. Okay.
Just to
right,
get-
'cause
No, and so for
so
years-
you're going to ruin the entire bag
No.
to
When-
satisfy this one
No,
kid who
for-
wants to
for years.
verify how
But see,
horrible
that's
these
not-
things
Just
are.
give him one and get rid of.
Guys,
give him a
no,
couple of
that's the
pumpkins.
thing. They weren't in bags. It was in a giant glass case. It was like loose. It was like a giant container.
okay,
And they
okay,
poured it in a glass,
okay.
and they scooped it out
Like
into
a
a little
sneeze
bag.
guard
And,
kinda
yeah,
thing.
and it's like, how many pounds of pumpkins do you want? Oh, I
don't want
I'll
any
take a
pounds.
half and
I can't believe you guys like that type of like candy corn is the most disgusting. Like
Oh,
it's
you're
just
mental.
sugar
No.
horribleness.
During Halloween, it's
there's
delicious.
so much-
Oh, it's
There's
horrible.
so much shittier
chocolate I
candy
can
out there.
understand.
Circus peanuts are vile.
Yeah,
They're-
yeah.
Oh, that's
those are
no,
bad.
those are
Those
bad.
are
Those
horrendous.
Those
Those
are
are like
really
chemicals.
bad.
You're
Yeah,
eating.
no, that's
You know,
terrible.
I think I'm going to open
only
these
thing
and we're going
worse-
to try one. How about that?
I'll have like
Will you
a bunch.
try one?
The
Will
only
you
thing
try
worse
one?
than the circus peanut
If I open this,
I will try one.
The candy
are those
cigarettes.
damn the what? No, those were fantastic.
Yeah, everybody loves those.
I used to
right?
sell candy cigarettes in prison when I was a kid.
All right.
Juvenile.
Wait.
no, was that-
I just opened it. Smell that. Smell that. I just opened a bag.
Smells like Woolworths.
Oh my God! Smell that, Sean.
Oh yeah, that smells good.
James,
Smells good.
smell.
I love his stories
No, no.
though because it's like he had.
Matt,
the,
no. Take a
this
big
is when
whiff.
you
Take
had
a big.
the-
It's fresh.
He had the croup. And
Isn't
It
that-
smells just like Roundup weed killer.
No. Okay, now take a pumpkin.
one. Okay,
take
like
one.
a fresh jiggler is what it
These are
smells like.
fresh.
There you go.
Jason, take a fresh
We're all,
pumpkin.
we're all taking
mellow
one.
cream.
We're all going to take one together, man.
Great radio.
Let's toast
We're
our
all
pumpkins,
eating
man.
candy.
No,
We're
but
going
this is-
through this
this-
together.
okay,
If we're
I'll
gonna
see you on the other side.
side, man.
All right, so take this
Okay,
freshly
ready?
open.
Ready?
Oh,
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Money isn't real.
Oh
my God.
They're
That's
good.
good.
Oh my God! It's like it's like
Oh, you're insane. Oh,
this is like heroin.
Stop
to
it.
me.
Matt could not finish his.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Matt, this is delicious.
Those are good.
Look, I gotta have another one.
Oh my God.
Worst Halloween candy.
Are you diabetic? Like,
Yeah, I
Weird
love.
peanut butter things that were wrapped in wax, black, or orange paper. Do you
Oh
remember those
yeah,
generic?
Yeah.
were they kind of?
What
was that?
Crunchy
I
or
had no idea.
Yeah,
Like, there was
I
a cheapest,
vaguely remember
the
that.
cheapest
literally
candy,
the
yeah.
cheapest candy you get. Now,
Yeah.
what I loved,
what about the little wafer things? The sugar wafer
the
things
little flying
that had-
saucers, the flying saucers,
No,
the things inside of them.
Sweet tarts?
Smarties are great.
Smarties is great.
I love
Smarties are
Smarties.
still good. to this
Smarties
day.
are great, but what's the
called,
other thing that's like
they're
a
called something with a C.
Sweet tarts?
but they were like
They came in a
were
pack of,
very
like,
thin,
8, and they came in
thin
a-
wafer.
Oh,
Neckas?
Neckas.
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 wafers.
That's it.
Necka
Necka wafers, that's
Necka
it.
wafers.
I didn't really like those.
There was always
They're
one
powdery.
house, one house on the block that I loved that would do a little paper bag that had a little spider on it or happy or something, and it had like the Smarties, and it had a chocolate bar,
Like a grab
that's
bag.
good.
That's
maybe
cool.
wax lips or something or teeth.
I love wax
and a
lips.
spider ring.
Oh, that's cool.
And
That's
that
cool.
was the thing that I would hunt for in the bag each year.
The spider ring.
cool.
No, it was a little bag. It was somebody on the,
Somebody went,
somebody on the block
went
took
through the
time
trouble of like, yeah, that's
to get
great.
a bag and do a little like
When you
go
guys
to a birthday party.
do you
when you're a
guys give
kid.
away candy on Halloween?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because
Depends on where I
we
live.
just
Depends on if I'm on leave. That week.
how's the restraining order? How's that?
Yeah, it's a little
Okay.
iffy. It's iffy.
When we moved into this place, we finally got trick or treaters.
Yeah.
Our other
Right.
place was a
Right.
condo, and
Yeah.
they couldn't even get past
Yeah.
the main door.
Gina and I we were in a block
Yeah.
where a fair amount of little kids combined.
We had a ton. We ran out of candy. I had
Yeah,
to go
we've done
run and
that
get
before.
some.
Yeah.
I was not
I'll tell you-
expecting the amount of. But what we do, I do like 3 different types of candy bar because I like
Sure.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Reese's peanut butter
And then
cups.
mix that with a bunch of like plastic spiders,
Oh, cool.
little spider
See?
skull rings and
There you
things
go.
like
That's
that.
cool.
Because that's what I would want.
Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I don't want, everybody jokes about the apple, but there'd be certain,
Oh, I wanted razor blades in my apple pie.
which supposedly never happened.
Never
Never
happened.
happened.
Yeah,
Total
right.
myth.
I think it was
Total
just a myth. Right.
But the last time I did it, I forget where I live, but the first hour or so, it's all these little kids and their
Yes.
parents, and
Right,
it's so
right.
cute. And it's
Yeah.
like, what are you? Oh, they're so fun. And after like an hour and a half, these kids are like, trick or treat.
Yeah, they get
The
older.
door, and it's like
They
two
get older.
30-year-old
They do.
people. Like, what are you doing? He's like, we moved into the neighborhood and we saw you were giving out candy. So,
It's like
Hey,
midnight.
my rule
candy's
is
gone.
you got a costume?
Yeah.
You get
No.
candy.
Yep.
No, the guy's
No, I'm with you.
A little bit of blood hanging down his cheek.
hey,
That's
no.
not a costume. Somebody
It-
punched you, and that's not a costume. I'm sorry.
To
I'm
me,
not giving
that's
you-
like going the final distance, like, wow, you got your ass kicked just to get candy.
There's actually a great scene in an early Curb Your Enthusiasm where 2 girls show up at his doorstep and he just argues with them and refuses to give them anything.
I remember
Right,
that.
right,
I
yeah,
remember
that's
that.
funny.
That's right.
Never really
true,
took
though.
a shine to that show.
Oh, here we go.
really?
Nah.
Oh wow! Early,
I don't
early,
dislike
early
it, but
on.
I'm with you. I
As
love that.
at later seasons, definitely were weak, but I really
To me, it
enjoyed
was
the
like
early
underwritten
seasons.
Seinfeld. It was like, and then I think it's one of those things too. Like Larry David, you either like him or you don't. Like I don't find him terribly amusing.
Really?
I'm sure he's a wonderful writer, and he is
It was this
a
to me.
great Bernie Sanders.
It was this to me. You ready? You ready?
Right.
Ready? Do you want to go for a sandwich?
No, I don't think so.
I want to go for a sandwich.
Well, why don't we get pasta instead?
We can get pasta. Do you want to get pasta?
All right.
Are we gonna get pasta?
I'd rather have pasta.
Let's get a sandwich.
Yeah. See, I'm already bored of this.
What is
the show.
this?
That's the show.
What is this?
That's a recreation.
The
of
whole
scene
thing was
from
like, we don't
Curb
write
Your
the show, so
Enthusiasm.
we do a little bit here, and
Yeah,
then we do this,
it's-
and then we
that
get
is-
to
that
here.
is what
and it's
it
like,
was.
well, yeah,
But sometimes
you
it
just
was
kind of bouncing
hilarious,
back and
though.
forth.
It was very
Hilarious.
very often hilarious.
Hilarious.
The early seasons were
Yes, they
much better
were.
than later
I'm sorry.
Not-
Okay.
not-
I
not
just
the
I
later
don't see it.
seasons.
And I like a lot of the people who were on this show, and and it's like I respected the experiment. Let's just say.
Right, right.
It
But
started,
it didn't.
it wore. I thought it wore.
To
a
me,
well
did-
his
very
shtick
It did.
is
Shtick wore its welcome.
is like one episode, and then I'm done. I'm out. I'm out.
The another character's wife got so cartoonish and so
Yes. Yeah.
that it was like
It got. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it got
I
too
can't-
cartoonish after a while.
it's like
Yeah.
honeymooners. Nothing
Well,
against
yeah.
the honeymooners, but I'm saying it was like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
big and broad.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny that you should bring up cartoonish because one of the things that I was thinking of is when we were all kids.
Yes.
You know, they didn't have decorations like they do now. I mean, we have come so far in the world.
That was
of
a smooth transition, by the
decorations.
way.
Wow, that was.
Wow.
I'm still.
Yeah, you're good.
Did you see when you were
You're
when you were
good.
laying that on me? Did you see my eyes kind of squint, going, "Where is he going?"
Well, I can't curb. You didn't even try. Like I
not
can't
even-
curb my enthusiasm for decoration.
Decorations.
Jesus Christ!
Speaking of Larry David,
let me just say-
when he grew up,
Try a little bit.
Okay,
there may not have been such a
speaking of
thing
people
as
named Larry,
recommendation.
me as Larry would like to talk about.
Larry David never had holidays.
Yeah, there you go.
When he
The
grew
name
up.
connection,
Yeah,
anything.
that's great.
You
That's
had-
great.
Wow,
But
that
don't
was
you think
smooth.
it's amazing that today
Yeah.
now they have all kinds of things, whether it be giant inflatables
Is
or
this your list? Are
animatronic
you going off your
figures.
list again?
Yes,
Yeah, all
I have a
right.
huge list. I mean, that's the funny thing. You know, I wish when I was a kid,
I thought this was anything goes. So the idea of just like going with it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wanted to talk about
All right,
decoration.
okay, all
I
right,
agree.
go ahead.
Halloween decor today is freaking awesome.
Yes.
It is, yes.
There is. Can I just say one
Please.
thing? Now you have stuff that we grew up on in horror films that they're putting out. Like there's this company called Trick or Treat Studios.
Oh,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
You like the
Oh, I know
old-
Trick or Treat,
Like
yeah.
the, but
I have
like
a couple
the wall,
of their masks right in this
the wall
room.
decor.
They're doing Twilight Zone.
You know, like the 60s.
They're
and
riffing. Do
you want to start again?
No, they're riffing
From the top.
They're riffing.
Top of the show.
Sorry, they're riffing off of some things that we've done.
Yes.
Trick or Treat.
But you
Twilight
know how
Zone,
like
sorry.
the stylized like from the 60s and 70s Halloween things you paste on your windows and your
Yes.
door. It has that kind of orange and black style
Yeah.
to
Yes.
it. This company is putting out ones where they do like they live decorations. Wow. And
Yeah.
Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw and Halloween 3 with the 3 masks and Child's Play, American Werewolf in London, but they're done in the style of like 60s, 70s Halloween decorations. They're awesome.
See, I
Now
thought you were
that's
going to go. Wait a minute. I thought you were going to go in a completely different direction because as much as I like that, we're still just doing paper hanging things.
Yeah,
like
but-
in this day and age, you go to Walgreens and you can get like animatronic.
Well, sure, yeah.
Medusas.
Yeah.
And you can get. I
right,
saw.
you know.
I saw at CVS. There's like a TV that you turn it on,
Right.
and all of a sudden there's static, and a
Yeah,
face comes out of the
I saw that.
screen, and I'm like, holy shit! If I was a kid and I
Oh.
went through a Halloween maze like
Oh.
at a carnival, I'd be out of my mind. Like, how did they even do that?
Yeah.
And you can buy them at a drugstore.
Yeah.
Do you
That's cool.
remember a year or two ago at Target where they had a whole Universal Monsters thing?
Oh,
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster head, like
Yes.
talking and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, what's
this
funny
would've-
about that is, and I believe we posted this, my little niece knows how much Uncle Larry loves the creature, and they had a full Creature from the Black Lagoon costume, which I purchased the largest one.
Target did? No
Yes,
kidding,
at
really?
Target.
Wow.
I purchased the largest one that I couldn't fit in, but I could throw my daughter in it.
Okay.
But my niece loved it so much. Her mom took her to the store and they bought one, and she did this whole little thing. She goes,
Wow.
"Uncle Larry, look, I'm the creature. I'm the creature." And they filmed
Taunting
it,
you.
and they taunted.
I can
yes,
fit this.
Yes, and they sent it to us, and we posted it on our
right, that's
Facebook
right.
page. But she loved the creature. She wasn't going to be the creature, but then
Creatures-
she changed her mind, and she
Be
was the
honest.
creature from the Black Lagoon for Halloween.
It's one of the best designs.
My
ever.
niece.
We have to
Hey,
say it's one
Larry.
of the best designs ever.
I just thought of this, and I've always been meaning to ask you this
Oh, boy.
about this recent trend.
Yeah.
And so at some Senate hearings, when it came to anything that was relating to the environment,
Yes.
there are these protesters that would show up wearing Creature from the Black Lagoon masks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
And they
yeah,
called
yeah.
them swamp creatures.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
And
great.
they just sit in the back.
And they sit in the back.
great.
And I think it was also because, like, oh, you know, the swamp of politics
Yes.
and everything.
Right.
But
But tell me you didn't sit there and go, it was a lagoon.
it's
you
a
prick."
lagoon, you idiots.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't look. I agree with you. Just take off that mask.
Smash
and
the-
find a swamp
Smash
thing.
the system,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
get the lake body of water right.
You know what?
Yes.
This is what I'm going to say. If you're saying, Larry, how do you feel about that? And I'm going to tell you.
Oh.
My feeling is no.
When
no.
Larry David made
No, I want to tell you because I watched. That
know what I'm
little-
talking
I
about.
know
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
There was this one that was on the environment, and there's this woman who's sitting behind him, and she's perfectly still. And how 5 minutes in, she leans over, and all of a sudden comes back up, and she's wearing the creature mask, and she sat there very politely. Should sometimes turn her head
It
or
was
whatever.
brilliant. It was brilliant.
And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it brought up a bit of the
absurdity.
hypocrisy or
And the-
whatever.
yeah.
And the funny thing is, you know what's great? There are a lot of people out there that don't really know, God, what is that mask?
Sure,
I know.
sure,
And in
that's
a
true.
way, it's a resurgence of the creature. The creature is coming back, even though they say swamp
Gill
or
Man.
whatever. Guys,
I did not expect this answer.
I did not.
I really didn't.
No,
you thought
but
he was going to be pissed off.
I thought you'd be
No,
outraged.
I was not
like
because
I was.
it was staining the legacy
I
of
know
the-
what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like kids don't bother to just research your mask.
But you see, the thing is I think it would bring up people.
You're
Were gonna,
doing it wrong
What is
again.
that? What is that thing? What it was that? That's the creature from the Black Lagoon. They
But
learn
every
about
time they
it.
called it a creature from the swamp,
Yeah.
there wasn't even a part of you that went, ew.
Well, but see, that's like whether it's the news media not getting it right or whatnot, and maybe there's a thing about we don't
wasn't-
actually want to say creature
It
from
wasn't
the
really
Black
the news
Lagoon.
media. It was kind of the resistance.
Well,
Yeah,
be that
swamp,
be that as it may, I didn't.
Lagoon
mind-
doesn't work.
Look, guys, I didn't.
He's not from a swamp, and I don't want him to be associated, frankly, with these pricks.
Okay, all I'm saying
It's
is
kind of like V for Vendetta.
Yeah, the
like the
Guy
Guy
Fawkes.
Fawkes mask is like, what is the Guy Fawkes? Like people don't
but
know.
see,
like, you
but
have
that
to,
makes sense.
But that makes sense.
Yeah,
true.
That's
But it's
protest.
an idea, like, you have
remember
to
the 5th of
research it.
November, the gunpowder treason and plot.
That's right.
Yeah.
I see no reason to finish this thing to try to impress any of you. And I'm not going to do it.
Your commitment, though, I actually thought that was part of the poem. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was
wow,
good.
I didn't realize that it took
No,
that
but
weird turn.
but that makes sense. That
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
thing.
But that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
look,
Here's another-
all I thought was it's another way that the creature can be brought up.
what you're thinking
Right.
is let them have it if it'll get them turned on to watch the movie.
That's my point.
Sure.
Do you
Yeah,
think
sure.
that that's actually what happened? They
Here's the
went,
problem.
Hey, where'd this mask come
You know,
from?
maybe
They're-
not
they're
maybe not
sit-
everybody,
they're
but if it
sitting
gets
around-
5 people,
They're
if it
sitting
gets
around looking up a movie called Creature from the Swamp,
Right. Right.
But you
and
see,
they're never going to find it.
Swamp thing.
they're going to get Curse of the Swamp creature instead.
I'll tell you a little candy memory. This is a funny candy. This happened 2 years in a row. I was a very little kid.
Uh-huh.
And again, the whole thing of my dad was a strange cat, but he there would be, I think it's happened a couple years in a row where all of a sudden you'd come down to the kitchen and he'd have these C's candies or
Yes.
Fanny Farmer. They would do these tinfoil wrapped like a
Yes.
hollow chocolate cat.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Or a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, with the tinfoil around
I
it.
know 'em.
And they were almost like the eyes were almost like painted on the tinfoil,
Yeah.
you know?
They're
It was
beautiful.
really gorgeous. Like, and there'd be like a pumpkin and a cat and a witch, you know, sideways witch
Yes.
kind of thing or something.
Gotta
and then
be
like
sideways witch.
these chocolate covered
Straight on
Choc-
witch doesn't work.
straight on witch does not work. You don't get the nose. You don't get
Sure.
the profile.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
The chocolate covered orange flavored marshmallow pumpkins. Oh, did I like those?
Those
Orange candy.
I know those,
Oh.
those
Really?
I weren't into.
What is
I-
wrong
yeah.
with you? You're talking
Yeah.
about
Suit
fruit
you.
juice.
But that's
just-
orange candy?
You don't like orange marshmallow pumpkins.
Here's,
you don't like
all right.
you
Okay,
don't
wait.
like candy
okay,
corn.
wait.
You come.
Do we like? Do we like this? Do we like this? And this is one that is kind of a guilty pleasure. The little wax bottles,
Yes.
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
liquid inside.
Love
Well.
those.
Now wait. Now, like
I love the liquid.
every week, every day. No,
No, but
No, I
as a
couldn't
special.
eat-
yeah.
no,
as
no,
a
no,
special
no, no.
treat now and then.
Yeah.
Drink
kidding
maybe
me?
3 of them, and then
5 or 6.
Get behind the wheel.
you know what, 5 or 6,
And then get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
and then fall down a hill.
It is a strange, and they used to do little ones in chocolate bottles that had like liqueur inside. You remember those like little
Ooh, I don't
tinfoil
remember
babies?
that.
not
or little.
not
Do-
for
do-
little kids.
do you have one on you?
As a matter of fact,
You have them hidden all around your house,
Getting all
right?
over the place. I can't
You
find
can
half
still
of them.
get those at duty-free shops all over the world.
Okay, so they have those, but the
okay.
wax bottle was always a weird. Like I could
It
never
was
figure out
strange.
what that thing was.
I thought that you could eat the
And
wax.
you could
chew it.
Well, it
You
was
could
crazy
chew it.
because it still had the sugar
It
from the
still
liquid,
had
and so you'd
sugar.
kind of
You'd
be
eat the tip
flavored
of it.
wax.
It was weird
Yeah.
because I would drink the liquid, and then I go, you stick your tongue in there, and go, and then I chew the bottle.
When you
and
say
then,
you stuck your tongue in there and went, you did that. The rest of us,
What
Well,
about
Jason,
just
you
drank
bite
the thing?
the tip off, and then
we're still talking about the wax bottle.
Yes,
Okay.
and then you drink the liquid,
then you put your
stick
tongue in the-
bottle.
And we're still talking about the wax
Yes.
bottles. Okay.
But
And how
see,
old were you?
Look, that's not the point. The point is like
it is.
So
Show
then
me.
you're
Show me. You
chewing-
know what? Show me on the
No,
doll.
no,
Show
no.
me on the doll.
Okay.
Show me on the wax.
Show me on the
Here.
wax doll.
Now,
How did
I'm gonna hand
have
you a
ever-
candle.
Have you
Tell
ever
me how it
have
happens.
you ever chewed on something and you realize I'm not sure I'm supposed to swallow this?
There's so many ways.
swallowed it.
There's so many ways to answer that question. I don't think we have enough time in this show.
Wait,
The short
Come
answer.
on.
The short.
Wait a minute, you swallowed
You know
the
what,
wax?
Larry? You know what, Larry?
And I thought,
You know what,
oh my
Larry?
God, I'm gonna die.
You know what,
Because
Larry?
you've heard this. Oh, gum will stay.
Larry?
in your-
I,
in your-
I felt that about Razzles because I liked Razzles and I would eat them, but you're not
Which ones
supposed to
were
because
Ra-
they're gum.
What was Razzles?
The short
it's a-
answer
first
is
it's a candy,
nearly
then it's a
every time.
gum.
Yeah.
Remember? First it's a candy.
don't remember
and then
that.
it's a gum. Yes, I remember those.
No, sweetheart.
Razzles.
No.
Razzles?
No,
Razzles.
it's yeah, because they were hard. They were hard like a
No, they
candy.
were chewy. They were
and
chewy.
You chewed them,
They had
and then
like
and
a-
then they turned into a gum.
I don't
Yeah.
remember
They
this.
were-
But like
round.
and they
They
supposedly
still make 'em.
Yeah, they
still
supposedly
make 'em.
stay in your stomach for years if you've
So?
got you know, so.
So I remember
That's
eating.
the thing is, it was like, oh, it stays in your system for well, as long as it's not
but
doing
that
me
is-
any harm.
But that is a weird thing with the wax lips and the wax bottles. Where didn't the companies go, wait a second, so what do the kids do once they drink the thing? Well, they chew
Yeah.
on the wax for a bit. Yeah, but what if they keep chewing it?
Yeah, and her
Well, they're going to swallow it.
Yeah.
Like, is that...
well, wait, the
wouldn't
wax
have a
lips actually had flavor in them.
They did, but you could. You're not
But you're
supposed
still
to.
not
You're not supposed to swallow.
wax.
No.
Yeah.
But wasn't there liability for these companies? You're like, you got kids all over town
but
getting big
wax,
stomach aches. 'cause
if you
they're eating
if you
wax.
swallow wax,
All right, you know what?
It's
Eat-
gonna go right out.
Oh, really?
Is it?
It comes out smooth, like a
Actually, you know what?
like a luge.
Actually,
talking to
it's-
someone who
it
knows what they're
It
talking
works
about.
as a waxative.
Hey, I see what you did
God
there.
bless him.
I see
God
what you
bless
did
him.
there.
You are a treasure. You really are.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But now, what about Pop Rocks?
What about
Yeah,
him?
I used to like Pop
I-
Rocks.
We still
I
talking
re-
about Halloween?
Yeah,
And,
what else
and, and there was this rumor. Do you guys remember the rumor
Yes, it was
that there was a
never
kid at another school that goes, I'm going to show you, and he took like 2 packages and put them both in his mouth, and his head
No, but
exploded.
he did. He
you know
drank
what?
Coke also.
And
he drank soda.
I was. Do you guys know? I was terrified of having
Do you know
Pop
what?
Rocks.
I knew that kid.
No, wasn't
that was a true story.
Wasn't the rumor that it was Mikey,
story.
Mikey from the Life cereal
No,
commercial?
Yes,
no,
that
it
was
was
the rumor.
Mikey's younger brother, Stu, and I knew that kid.
Okay, are
But the
you?
thing is,
are
his
you being
head-
He hated
serious?
most things.
His head didn't,
not everything.
His head didn't completely explode. That was the sad part.
See, I want
Now he only comes out at night hunting for Pop Rocks.
I thought it was like
And
it
every
blew up his
Halloween-
throat or something.
No,
Every
it's supposed to be
Halloween,
his
he
head
finds the
exploded.
kids.
Okay, does anyone
that
know
love
that's
Pop
not-
Rocks
That's a good Halloween story.
that's not true.
and pours soda over their heads.
Did anyone bring Pop Rocks?
They still make
No,
Pop Rocks
no.
there too.
So it can't be true.
You
'Cause
can
I'm-
still get Pop Rocks, right?
No. That your head will explode.
No.
Your throat will
No, you know how
explode.
hard it is to get a head to explode.
And this is
You know how hard a skull is.
This is someone who's really tried.
I've tried.
This is
You know,
from someone who's really tried.
I would stand on my head and just have someone through a straw just force Pop Rocks into me, just to see if it would work.
He used to stand when I first met him. He would stand on his head, and he'd have people come by and say, "Jump on the bottom of my feet. Just keep jumping on the bottom of my feet." And so his head would go down and down into the ground,
And just it would just pop right back up
and
again.
it'll pop right back
Yeah.
up again. Never
The
happened.
beautiful thing, the skull.
After about a month of that, I said, "Hey, you want to go to lunch?"
And I went,
Okay, well that's great. So
Now-
the Pop.
Pop Rocks.
Yes.
Did you like them though? Like we could
I
be.
did.
I did. I liked
thought
the
they
flavor.
actually
Flavors.
tasted good.
Yeah.
And then the popping part
That was exciting.
was exciting.
Yeah, it scared me
cool.
though.
Yeah,
It
for
scared
about
me.
5 minutes. It was a novelty. It's
Yeah.
not like you're going to keep having it.
Yeah.
But it
Like,
was
they
there
were
was
small
a
packets.
buzz though. It was a buzz
it
because
was,
it
yeah.
kind of made a noise. And
Yeah.
And you'd open up your mouth and go.
Yeah, it was cool.
Do you remember the ones called was it bottle cap?
Yes, bottle
Oh, I
caps.
love
Yeah, I
bottle
love
caps.
bottle
Remind
caps.
me what
Yeah.
bottle caps were.
They tasted like soda.
They're like
Yes.
they're like
And they looked like
Sweet
bottle
Tarts
caps,
kind of.
right?
Yeah,
Bottle
yeah.
caps.
And there's like
Who remembers Bub's Daddy bubblegum? Remember that?
that sounds familiar.
No.
They were
remember
long.
that.
They'd have them hanging up like over railing thing, and then these long string, like licorice, like a long string.
No.
Of licorice in a
I
plastic.
never get into
thing.
bubble gum much though.
Bub's
No.
Daddy.
No.
First thing I ever stole.
I
as a
was-
kid.
Bubblegum was. It's
I never really.
It always
occasionally.
See,
Yeah.
to me, it always made me feel cheap and tawdry, and I just
Wait, whoa!
I-
Bubblegum?
Which part?
Bubblegum?
Yeah, when I saw people,
Why?
You were like a gangster
kids,
mall or
No,
something?
when I always
What are you, Hemingway?
No, I'm just saying. When when I was a kid, you see people in movies.
Daddy, I wanna go shopping.
And anyone who in the neighborhood
want
kids.
gum.
Whoever got gum, first of all, I don't think that we were really allowed gum in our house. And
Oh,
then
for
you
fuck's
didn't.
sake.
And
Can I just ask, did you grow up in Victorian London? Because every story is like, when I was a kid,
We weren't allowed.
no,
we
come
made
on.
cars out of wood.
Well, hey, and also, we weren't allowed straws. You know why? Because straws make messes, and that's why, as an adult, I always have to have a straw. Now, granted, I'm getting better. I'm like
getting better.
I'm getting.
You're
I'm
doing
getting-
good. You got your as he
In every
fondles a
way.
straw.
But you
Every
see,
day
the
is
funny
fondling
thing,
a straw,
I'll
ladies and
wash
gentlemen.
the straw and I will reuse it.
Oh,
right.
look at you.
Fair enough.
Jesus.
Johnny Environment.
So you weren't allowed straws.
Yeah,
You couldn't
'cause-
have comic books. No bubble gum. What else? What else?
But you were allowed as many capes as you could wear.
This is our Halloween. This is our Halloween episode.
Can I have a cape,
and
please,
Sean had started to touch base on the decorations, and I
Yes.
wanted to say one of the decorations that I really love.
go.
the one you were allowed.
Well, the one that these didn't come out until the
Plank
mid
of
80s.
seawood.
Do you guys remember the
a face on
the Telco motionettes? You have two behind
yeah.
Yes.
They're
No,
great.
we love them.
And
I
the-
never-
remember them.
We've talked about this
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping with that one.
That's right. Well,
Do I remember them?
what you don't know,
Yes. Probably not.
There's a hole in the back.
No, there's not a hole in the back.
There
so,
is now.
so I have many. I have many of these. I have like a Frankenstein, a Bride of Frankenstein, which is very rare. Very
it-
rare.
is it
Yes,
true?
That's
is,
the one
yes.
with the hole.
No.
Here's
no,
the thing.
No,
Can we pause on that for a second? Why does no one ever get uptight that she's called the Bride of Frankenstein?
And
he's not called Frankenstein.
That's true. Bride of the Monster.
Why
Her
don't they
name is
call her-
Edna.
Why don't they just call her Edna? Or Bride of the Monster. Bride of Frankenstein is a misnomer that everyone is these days when you say Frankenstein, people go, it's not the name.
Bride of Frankenstein, yeah.
Nobody ever does it with Bride.
Well, actually,
Am I
when you
wrong?
think about it,
Am I wrong?
if he made,
Am I wrong?
Well, wait a minute, no, because
Oh, well.
we both like Penny Dreadful.
Love Penny Dreadful.
In Penny
In
Dreadful,
fact, Biff Bang Pow made a lot of merchandise for Penny Dreadful.
and I love it all. I love it all.
Let's talk about
but in that series,
Yeah.
the bride, Dr. Frankenstein actually makes it really kind of for himself.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess
Oh,
you could say
totally.
that in the original though too. It's like she's attracted to Dr.
Yeah.
Frankenstein, so it's kind of like
But he made it for
Yeah.
him. He
Well,
made it for him.
yes, but
the name of the frickin'
In the-
movie
in Universal,
is called The
he
Bride
makes
of
it-
Frankenstein.
I know, I'm just
okay,
saying that-
and so it's like
odd that
Telco.
nobody-
They're
Sorry,
following. They're
Telco.
following. The theme.
Bride of the Frankenstein monster doesn't really roll.
I
off
am
the tongue.
not crucifying Telco in this story. I just was making an aside. But please continue.
Yes, well, other motionettes I have.
motionettes.
I
Yes.
have a Dracula and a Dracula version 2 with like striped pants and a rubber spider.
And you
Nice.
wrote this down on a list.
I did. A wolf
that you're afraid you weren't going to
creature-
forget the thing that you talk about every fucking year.
But you see,
your motionettes.
But I love these motionettes. And let me tell you something. No, he's knocking these motionettes. Oh, Larry, no.
whoa.
Jason, let me
I
tell
am
you
not
something.
knocking
No.
motionettes.
This is. Do you know we set them up?
I've knocked
we,
the Rockettes.
No, we set them
I
up
won't
in
knock
front of
the
the in the front window, and I tell you, people come from miles around.
Miles
and
around.
They take a look from
all over the
they
land.
look, and they go.
He's like
oh,
the talisman, and they've told this
I wish
tale
I
for
had
50
those
years.
motionettes. That's what they say.
No,
Darling, isn't
My
it time to hit the States
Is it
again?
time to visit the Telco region?
I've been wanting to visit Encino.
my wife tells me
How's the
that
Bride of Frankenstein?
every year,
You know, she's not
every
really
year, people
the Bride
rave.
of Frankenstein.
They okay. all right.
actually-
keep
No,
going.
all right,
keep,
go,
keep going.
sorry.
keep
No, no,
going.
no, no.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead, Larry.
sorry.
No, keep going on your
Larry,
British
no,
interpretation.
No,
the
no,
toast
Larry,
to the
stop.
town.
Yes,
and
go ahead.
we
No,
know.
no. He was talking about Telco that you talk about Telco every year, but please.
No,
I want to hear more about Telco.
motionettes. Go.
Motionettes. Talk about the motionettes.
I'm just going to say
Tell
that
me
every,
something we haven't heard.
every year people come and say
From
how much
miles around.
from miles around. They say I love what you guys do in this
Yes.
window.
Miles
I
around.
love those monster figures, and we're the only ones in our neighborhood
In the
that has
world.
such a
It's
thing.
like the Macy's parade kind of.
Yes, or
Of Telco.
when you would go in front of the Macy's storefront windows and they have all the little moving things
Sure,
and creatures, and that's what it's like.
It's like that.
That's cool.
So it's like
I love that story every single time.
Every episode.
cool.
It's a great story, though. It is a great story. Do they
right.
make Telco blah blahs
Not anymore.
They don't?
No,
Okay.
gone.
Okay.
Gone.
Gone.
Well,
Is there a Jesus motionette?
As far as I know, there is not. There are some angels.
Santa.
There are
Santa
angels.
Claus.
There's some
Yes.
angels and Santa Claus.
Do they do like Easter?
You know what?
Easter
They
bunny?
do.
Do you know
They
what?
do have an Easter
Weird.
bunny.
They made a Judas one year.
No,
they did.
No,
Does he hang himself?
They sold like 4. They could not get rid of Judas.
Now let me tell you
He
something.
plays the
I don't know why.
Jesus Christ
All right.
Superstar.
He just sort of.
Jason's being funny.
Just uses a knife
Telling a
like
joke.
this and
All right, okay.
Telling a joke.
All right.
But I will tell you,
Too much crosstalk.
You know
Let's
what's
go.
funny? It's you say, what's the rarest? Well, there was a mummy. Apparently, there was a mummy that was made, and there aren't many mummies around. Because who wanted the Telco mummy?
I wanted the Telco
Yeah,
mummy.
well-
Does it look good, Larry?
Well, see, there's 2 different kinds. There's one that's maybe about there's a say 15 inches, and then there's the big 2-foot tall. And I guess that's so rare.
Larry, I got from my parents' house, and they had it in their garage. I got a little kind of mini. I don't know if it's even a motionette, but it's like one.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because it's this Dracula with gray hair, and his pants are striped, and it's like he's in a barbershop quartet.
Yes. Yes.
Is that a motionette?
It is, and I have, if it's the same one I have, because my parents got it, and my big issue, and I kind of, Mom, he's got striped pants, and she goes, oh, but isn't that funny? I mean, Mom was like that, she always think, oh, I think this is funny, and it's monsters, she always thought that was good, and then I go,
Well, you're completist now, so you have it.
Well, but the funny thing is, I was actually going to take my Dracula motionette with the striped pants to this tailor to get new pants made for him that had little satin black pants.
That's the story I was looking for. You were going to go to a tailor to have pants made.
I gotta tell you,
for your motionette, right?
You buried the lead with that.
You
one.
did.
That is
you did.
fucking gold.
That is your story.
That is phenomenal. That is the best thing you've said all night, basically. You were going to go to a tailor to make special little pants for your striped panted Dracula.
Although,
second edition.
Jason?
That's unbelievable.
Jason, fellow Doctor Who guy.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got the Dennis Fisher
Sure. 10
Doctor.
inch. Yeah.
and I found a used one.
Okay.
And the scarf was coming unstitched.
Sure.
So I brought it to a place to have them restitch it.
Nice.
Of course you did.
And
As you do.
And they looked at me. They gave me a strange look, and then they said, "Okay, we'll be ready by Wednesday."
As you do.
Cool.
And they did a wonderful job. And I'm wearing it now. Guess where? Go ahead.
I'm hoping you're pinky.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good. All right.
What about
That's what I've named it.
So are these telco things? Are they? Can you mind if I ask without getting personal? Are they really expensive? kind of
Yes,
thing?
they are.
Are they?
Well, it depends on which one.
Gorillas, right?
Well, this one over here, this is like the King Kong or whatever, and this is very rare. This is very
That's my
expensive.
parting gift.
And no, it's just something to look at. And then
is this
there's
yours?
also
Is this
yes.
oh,
and
I
then
thought it
there's
was his.
No, this is mine.
Oh, I didn't
And
know.
I brought
Why
it.
is King Kong holding a giant candle?
This is yours here?
Yeah, that's mine
no
too.
kidding. So what
Yeah.
year is this one?
This is from that one's from like 89, 1990.
The face is great.
That one's from earlier. That's like 86, 87.
I have to jump. Can we take the needle off the record? This is from '89.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I honestly, I thought this
I have
was
the
gonna
box,
be, I
too.
thought this was going to be like 1962 or something.
No.
So these are more recent.
Well,
No. What are you talking? 89. How long ago was that?
They're beautiful.
A lot of they are very nice.
My
a lot of stories that you've told take place in a certain time frame.
Yes.
And so when you were talking about telco things growing up, I thought these were childhood things that came from a certain era than what you really revealed. Goes to show what I know.
So one of the rarest ones I have is actually a 2-foot creature from the Black Lagoon from 1992. And you think, 92, that's not too long ago. But if you think about it,
No,
92,
it's not.
2002,
I thought that. I just
2012.
That's not my favorite one either. You know? Like, of the ones that you have,
Yeah.
I think these are my favorites.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I
yeah,
brought
I love
Yeah.
I love the King Kong.
Thank
one.
you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Let's all thank Larry.
Thank you.
Thank
Larry.
you,
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. For,
It was my pleasure.
Thank you, telco. I've gone through movies, TV shows, candy, costumes.
Sure.
There's something so perfectly, beautifully, classically, ridiculously funny about pictures of kids in Ben Cooper costumes.
I love him.
Yeah.
You cannot see their faces. Do you know
Steve Banos. Yes, Steve Banos was on our show, and this is a
How do
collection.
you know Steve?
Hey, we go way back.
Hey,
he was on our
we know
show.
everybody.
Dave Higgins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Higgins, Boys, and Gruber.
Steve was on
And
our
you know,
show.
You know Gruber too, don't you?
I don't know Gruber, but I know Dave really well.
Steve posted a picture recently on Facebook.
Yeah.
Of like 3 or 4 kids. It's got to be early 70s,
Yeah.
just sitting on a couch.
Yes.
In Ben Cooper costumes. Nothing radical about the photos. There's something so beautiful and funny about kids in those faces that have no expressions on them.
Yeah,
And they're this big.
What's so funny too is how that type of costume just cornered the market. Like when
totally.
kids'
Like
costumes, like we would watch the local show for horror movies when we were growing up, creature features,
right.
and they would have these. Every time Halloween would come around, Bob Wilkins would have a bunch of kids come on the show, and it was just one kid after another in a Ben Cooper costume.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is the Ben Cooper thing is I feel like it went away at a certain point. Like
Right.
things changed and those costumes went away and something. But I found like the last 6, 7, 8, 10 years, whatever it's been, the image of them, the notion of them, you see it in art. You see
And now
it
they're
in photos.
making new.
They're making new
ones today.
Well, it is there.
It is
Just
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. This
Yes,
company
exactly.
there's this company that's making these
Yeah.
masks, and it's
Yeah.
really for adults, and it's just the mask, not really a costume inside.
That's really
And
wall
they're
art.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It's beautiful. But I will say one thing about Steve Banos. Steve Banos has a huge collection of vintage Halloween images.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not
Yeah.
just stuff from the 70s that he collects. It's 60s, 50s,
He's
40s,
a monster
30s.
kid. I was on a panel with him
Yeah.
at Comic-Con for Forey for Famous Monsters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
He
he's
went-
great.
he and I
And
were
then
on.
Dana Gould actually gave me this framed picture of these 3 kids
Brilliant.
trick-or-treating,
So
and it's
good.
this great picture of them at the door of this house.
It's just
And a
And
little old lady. in
little
the
old
back.
lady,
It's
fishing some candy out.
a
and,
great
Weird
and
images.
there's
Yeah.
like a Frankenstein monster and a couple other characters, and they're just bundled in these winter coats.
so good.
But that was the thing too. When you're a little kid, like it didn't matter how cold it was, you had to go out there and trick or
yeah.
treat. Like it didn't matter what the weather was.
The idea that you could just go to a house and they'll just give you candy.
Yeah, it's like it's
I had a
genius.
Ben Cooper Batman mask, not the costume, just the mask. And I was disappointed because I wanted a cowl.
Right,
and it
not
had
the face.
Yeah, it had the
Chin.
face on it.
I got a pair of scissors and I cut out the face part.
Nice.
And that was as close as I could get
That's
back
cool.
then.
That's a really good idea.
That's actually, you're
Wasn't
thinking.
there was a toy that you could get though, and I think maybe Larry, you might remember this. It was this big plastic Batman cowl,
Yeah.
but it was molded.
Yeah.
Ideal made it.
very thick
Ideal.
plastic.
Yeah.
and it was the full cowl, and it even had like a little bottom. I think there was a
Strap.
bat signal.
It had the little logo at the bottom of it.
Okay, right.
Ideal they made that. So I'm thinking 66, 67, and they made the utility belt, which had the gun.
right.
I mean, this is like, right? Wasn't it Ideal? Was that who made it?
Sounds like it.
that sounds
Remco
right.
or Ideal?
That sounds
But
right.
There were the two that sort of went together, and they've got to be like just a.
Oh my God! Yeah.
fortune.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
if it's in great condition.
If it's
Remember,
in great condition,
everything's all
right.
about condition.
Right.
You know that, Mr. Toy Guy.
So I've heard.
If I can,
Speaking of condition,
Please.
if I can talk for a minute about conventions. I mean, there's a lot of monster conventions now. Mm-hmm. They're all
Yeah,
over
now
the
it's like all
country.
over the place.
Yeah.
And obviously, we go to
Yeah.
Monsterpalooza twice a
Sure.
year every year. But back in the day, I want to say about 15 years ago, really the only game in town, it wasn't in town, it was in Jersey, and this was Chiller.
Oh yeah,
The
right.
Chiller
Chiller, oh, yeah,
convention.
sure.
And for a few years in a row, I used to go. I would go with my friend Ed, who lives in New York and has his own public access show called Media Funhouse. And back then, it was pretty easy to get interviews with some of the celebrity guests. And I was Ed's cameraman, and I did video, and he would get so much time with these people. Roger Corman, Forey, Russ Meyer.
Russ Meyer, yeah.
Wow, that's
and,
awesome.
The Jerry Lewis knockoff guy.
Oh, Sammy Petrillo.
Sammy Petrillo. He's had
Wow.
Sammy Petrillo.
Care Dulea and Gary Lockwood. I mean, we
Wow.
would have these people.
who like now charge like $80 for an autograph.
Yeah, and they would give us like an hour. Garrett Graham came to our hotel room and sat there for an hour.
Garrett
We
Graham
had-
Nice.
is wonderful.
Yes, he is.
Why he? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Let's get back to Garrett Graham.
That'd be a good costume. Beef.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
See that.
We did a mini episode about Phantom of the Paradise just like a week or so ago, and I went on and on about where the motivation for that character came from, how he got there. But sorry, go ahead.
The
So
name
Chiller-
too.
He's got a YouTube channel, by the way, which is all these interviews are on, and then some.
Your friend Ed.
Your friend Ed,
and,
yeah.
and it's called Media Funhouse, and he's also got a blog, and it's been going on for like 25 years. It's crazy, but he's awesome. And we used to go, and also Wally Wingert would go to some of these.
Right.
And one of the great things about Chiller is that it's in the middle of nowhere in Meadowlands, New Jersey, and unlike here, it also starts getting colder around Halloween. So
Right.
you go outside in the parking lot, and there's a chill, you know. And one night, they had Zachary, who used to go to those shows,
yeah.
and Bobby Boris Pickett up on stage doing Monster Mash together.
Wow.
And there's an audience of maybe 150 people.
Wow.
And we're looking at this, and it's like historical.
Yeah.
And Wally turns to me and goes, "I got chills." And I so do I. That's freaking awesome.
That's great.
And you go to the little lunchroom, and there's nowhere else to go, so everybody's trapped in this hotel. So you have like Larry Hagman, having dinner, and Eddie Mecca from Laverne and Shirley's over there, and Aaron Moran is over there.
Who was Eddie Mecca?
The Big Ragu.
Oh, that was him. Okay.
Please.
Okay.
And
How dare you?
and
The one Italian reference. You don't get it. The whole night. you
Bella
don't get it.
Jr.
Weird. I took his class too.
Unbelievable.
Bela Lugosi Jr., who now we take for granted because he's always a Monster Palooza, but he
Right.
was walking, through the ballroom, and it was just like, how cool is this?
That's cool.
I interviewed him too.
Yeah.
I interviewed him after the screening of Dracula.
How was he?
He was very nice. I interviewed him after screening at a horror festival in something. I forget where it was. But it was him and his daughter. And I interviewed him and we talked about the Aurora kit and the lawsuit and, likeness rights and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. Well, you brought up Aurora. And so what about Halloween-related toys?
I mean, just all the stuff we collect is basically.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what about
Like,
Halloween? Something that's Halloween.
Specific.
I'm sure you.
Yes.
Well, I know.
Well-
First of all, Boglins is the first thing I thought of.
Oh,
yeah.
was it? Well, for me, and Jason would know about this
I know
because I
Boglins.
didn't know. That's not what I was going to say. That's not what I was going to discuss. You're Mr. Toy Guy, and like dolls and stuff. The Living Dead dolls. The Living Dead dolls did a whole series of just Halloween figures.
So
where they had
when you say Halloween, what would that be?
Oh, okay, not Halloween the movie,
Right.
although they did do
Sure.
a Michael
Yes.
Myers.
Right.
The Living
it was
Dead, they look like little kids.
Yeah,
with the-
little kids. I love those.
Oh, yeah, those are big.
I
Right?
do. I do kind of like
kinda
those.
cool.
As a matter
yeah.
of fact, Jason, I got a picture for you, and I think I've talked about this on another show. They made a Reagan doll from The Exorcist,
Oh, yeah.
which I gave to my daughter,
Oh,
and
nice.
she loved it. Just recently, we met Linda
yes.
Blair at
Oh,
Monster
nice.
Palooza, and she signed the
Yeah,
leg. My
that's pretty
daughter
awesome.
was so
That's
thrilled.
awesome.
We got her photo, but they did.
Halloween.
So they did a whole series of Halloween Living Dead dolls, and they also included Headless Horseman.
Cool.
And my favorite one, the one that I have a whole bunch of them, but one of them it's a little girl wearing a werewolf Ben Cooper type mask.
Oh, that's
that's
great.
And what's
cool.
great
That's
is
great.
you take the mask
Take the
off,
mask
and
off, yeah.
underneath she's a little werewolf,
Oh,
a real
that's
little
great.
werewolf.
I
And
like that.
You know what my problem is?
What?
My problem is, do I display her with the mask off or on? Right now,
true.
her mask is on display. But Jason's going to love this.
Yes.
Not only do I have those are Living Dead dolls, but
Yeah.
you guys are familiar with the Madame Alexander dolls, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, the Madame Alexander, yeah,
Those are the
Madame
ones that are kind of porcelains, hands and
Kind
face.
of.
Oh, yeah.
There are some that are like that, but they're very standard. They've been around for nearly 100 years.
Yeah.
Well, they started to get into some different offshoots back in the 90s, and they actually made a Psycho doll. But what it is, it's a bathtub with Marion Crane wearing the Bates bathtub, and there's a
You're
shower
kidding.
curtain, and there's a silhouette of the mother with the
Wow.
and you think, wait, this is a doll company? Apparently, it caused a lot of people to get very upset, But I have that, and it's on display in our little Halloween display.
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
got to be pretty valuable now.
Yeah, it's worth a few bucks.
That's a thing that's weird to me.
I'll get a picture. We'll post it.
is The Exorcist is that The Exorcist has really come around to
I know. Well,
figures and little vinyl figures.
but everything from when Freddy Krueger became a pop star, and you have toys
But
of
they're-
a child molester.
That's
that
the
you
weirdest
can
one for
buy,
me.
you know.
But you didn't have when that merchandise started to peak in the late '80s or whatever it was, early '90s. There was nothing of Regan or Exorcist.
True,
You
I
can
mean,
go into
yeah.
Walgreens, and they have a Regan stuffed doll.
Is it Regan or Reagan?
Reagan.
Reagan.
You press the button, and it walks around, and Mercedes McCambridge's voice comes out of the thing.
I want.
Wait,
that.
I want that. Wait, what's that?
Wow.
What does it say?
you can- it's-
What does it say? Your
well-
mother sucks. What, I mean, come on. I know. I'm just. What does it say?
Your mother
It
sex
says-
thingies.
It says a couple of lines that would be G-rated to sell at Walgreens.
Right.
But it's
Happy Halloween!
yeah. But the funny thing
Your
is
mother eats candy in hell.
all the other iconic characters that this company is doing, like same type of little walking thing. they're redoing the voice box. Like they're not taking a line directly from the movie.
Yes.
This
Oh, okay.
is direct sound chip from
Right.
Wow.
the movie.
I love it.
And it's wild. And it's
I want it.
Like the action. And then she's like,
Yeah.
it's all it's
Loosen the
crazy. Like,
strap.
that's
Sean,
really
wait,
wild
Sean,
to me that
you
that's
have-
become.
You have a Reagan
So-
in the bed.
Yeah, there's a great figure that came out several years back.
Yeah.
It's like a plastic is her strapped to the bed, and you press a little button, and the music plays, and her head spins
Yes.
around.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
That's great. I love that.
that's
And you have Pazuzu too.
Yeah, there's a great statue of Pazuzu that is fantastic.
I've got the little the thing he finds.
The medallion?
He finds just the little head.
Oh, the
oh
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
really?
I've
Okay,
got
cool.
that.
That's cool.
And then there's these little vinyl figures that just came out, and they made a Max von Sydow.
Father Karras.
Little glasses go on. and
Oh.
little holy
What? When did
water
these
and
come
everything.
out?
They're very caricaturish.
I don't like those. I hate those.
Yeah.
Like pop
Hey,
figures.
Hey, why
No,
don't
they move. They're
why
not
don't
care.
they're about
why
this
don't
big.
they make soup? Right?
Right.
Do you know how long
Exorcist
it
brand pea soup.
took to make
That's true.
for someone to make Cookie Monster cookies? I'll never forget seeing that.
Right.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Like, what- yeah.
Why
really.
did that?
Why
take
don't
so
you
long?
want to be rich?
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's in his name, for God's sake.
We know, with Mego coming back, they're
Yeah.
bringing a lot of monster figures now.
Sure,
which
yeah.
I love.
Shirtless
they also
Frankenstein's monster.
there's a Sleepy Hollow Headless Horseman figure
Oh,
too,
is there?
which
Are
is
they
great.
doing that?
It's
Oh, no
yeah, it's
kidding.
great.
From the movie.
No,
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 it's
no,
just-
no. It's a
oh,
generic.
it's
It's a generic headless
great.
horseman
great.
by
You
Mego.
can take
Oh,
off
that's
the head.
great.
But I think
Very, very Halloweeny.
we were
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
great.
this the other night, where that's really cool. But they did a Bela Lugosi looking Dracula, which we
Yeah.
have the license.
Yeah.
But then
Pretty
they
good.
came out with another Dracula, kind of a disco Dracula.
which Matt hates, but I love.
but he's wearing a.
It's
purple-
just a
slick
purple.
hair.
It's just a mod.
That's the
variation
Robert
on the
Goulet
Dracula.
figure that they're putting out.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of like a glow in the dark Robert Goulet.
glow-in-the-dark
with
Robert
a puffy
Goulet,
shirt.
yes.
How could you not like that?
Matt, it's glow in the dark. You love glow in the
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah,
Is he a little
Matt,
too
you
hip
love
for
glow in the
you?
dark.
It's too hip. That's right.
Yeah, it's
That's
just too
right.
hip.
It's just way too hip.
Way
There's a
too
cool
hip.
mummy figure that's
Way too
scary.
awesome.
The Mummy, I did not
Surprised
hate.
You don't like the mummy? Yeah.
No, I'm saying I did
Yeah.
not hate
you
that.
Don't like, you don't like the shirtless Frankenstein?
He has,
I don't like the shirtless one. I actually like the one with that has chains, glows in the dark, and has clothes.
but
like that one I like.
He has
But
stitches.
now you all agree that
Shirtless
that the
Frankenstein.
fuzzy Wolfman.
No, that's
is
genius.
fucking genius.
That is great.
so for
Fantastic.
listeners,
Hands down, you're
walking
right on that
genius.
one.
Fucking
so
genius.
so
Walking-
Mego,
walking
they made this. It was a werewolf, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
but
first they put
Tell
out
us.
because they couldn't get the rights to Chaney Estate. They actually made a figure which was Face of the Screaming Werewolf, which is a Mexican film that Lon Chaney Jr. was in the 50s, and it was like cobbled together from like a Mexican film to have Lon Chaney. Because I guess they couldn't get the Universal license. I guess they had the Chaney license, so it's like a Face of the Screaming Werewolf figure. That's awesome, and it's a
so
cool,
obscure.
pretty basic kind of figure, but it's cool. But then they put out a variation on it, just called the Werewolf, and it's flocked, which means it's completely fuzzy all over, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
it's
great.
fuzzy.
I love it.
So
Yeah,
cool.
it's great.
You
It's
had
great.
your chest flocked like 2 years ago, didn't you?
Well, I do it every year.
Oh, you do it every year.
because it wears off after a while.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so you
right.
got to get it done.
You know,
I
that-
can
I was-
Flocked.
Just to have like Mego monster figures, new
Sure.
figures being released now,
You know, it's funny.
is great.
A couple of weeks ago, we were talking in the green room, and I brought up like
In the green room.
Whoa,
the living
whoa.
room, the living room.
Green room. I love you.
Why have
Nobody
we never
took me to the
seen-
green room.
We've seen the Zuni fetish doll. We've never actually seen the Karen Black aftermath, and now
have.
I think it's Distinctive
Distinctive Dummies.
Distinctive Dummies
has
put
done-
out Amelia, which is her in the bathrobe and the teeth, and there's a little mini.
It's
Mini
so
Zuni doll.
fetish.
good.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
Have-
Well,
It's so
speaking
good.
of, speaking of Distinctive Dummies, Martin Cage continues to put out some great figures. Some recent ones that I got, which I love, they put a fantastic Vincent Price Witchfinder General figure.
Oh, nice.
He's got the Puritan hat and the
Yeah,
cape,
that's
and,
cool.
and it's a great
That's pretty
likeness.
cool.
Yeah.
They also put out the Blood Island Beast of Blood monster.
Yeah. Oh,
which is
yeah.
fucking
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's
yeah, I
great.
mean,
No,
there's
they do great work.
yeah,
I've got
there's so
the-
much of his stuff. Like I
Yeah.
can't afford to get
I've
all of
got
them, but
the
they're so
Vincent-
great.
I
Vincent
think I've
Price?
got to follow the House of Usher, Vincent Price.
Oh yeah, there was a Raven. Remember the Raven figure?
I have that one.
It was like a
I
12 inch.
love that
That's
one.
a cool one.
And I
That's
have-
great. That's a great likeness.
Yeah.
I have the Cushing, the 2-pack of Cushing and Lee,
Twins of Evil?
Frankenstein's
Oh,
monster.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a good one.
I love
Yeah.
all
Got that-
all
got
of the
those.
1/6. You know, the
Yeah.
12-inch ones.
Yeah.
God,
You got
the
I
Kolchak.
love
Did you
all
get
of
the
those.
Kolchak?
Oh yeah,
yes.
that's one of my favorite
That is
figures
one
of all
the best.
time.
That's
Oh, I had that on my list too. Sorry, which I'm sure you've talked about 1,000 times.
The Night Stalker.
Night
yeah.
Stalker, Night Strangler.
Yeah, we
Fantastic.
watch all of that. So let's do.
I
let's
actually
do-
think the second one is better.
Really?
Rewatching
Night
it,
Strangler?
getting on the Blu-ray, I think the second one
I like it, but
breathes
but-
better.
No.
I think it. Well, you're wrong. You
Well,
happen to be
the
wrong.
villain. I mean, Richard.
sounds-
And I'm the guest. So
Richard Anderson is not as formidable of a villain monster as
there's
you know
something about the
Skorzeny,
rhythm of
No.
the writing. I think is a little bit better in
Ooh,
the
the
second one.
rhythm of the writing.
I like the underground.
Tell me more, Mr. Film School.
I like the underground
When
Chicago
film
stuff.
began,
What was the mise en scene?
Railroad
in there?
cars.
What?
All right, no,
the
sorry.
the montage. The
Listen, we don't have time.
Jason, I have a question for
Yes,
you.
please. Thank
Bi-
you. Someone's going to finally ask me a question.
Biff Bang Pow.
Yes.
Twilight Zone.
Yes.
License.
Yes.
Got all of them. Love them.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm sure that you've been asked this before.
Mm.
Did you try to do a Rod Serling figure?
Yes, the first thing I wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah, it was the very first thing.
Because I would have loved that.
Me too. He's
They've
Rod
never
Serling.
really done one, have they?
No, Rod Serling's one of my heroes. That's part of where
Yeah,
the
mine-
whole thing
mine
came
too,
from. Is
yeah.
that he for so many reasons, but I just think people overuse the word genius all the time.
Yeah.
I think he truly was an absolute genius and brilliant at what he did.
I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
And so I've always loved him, and that was one of the first things I wanted to do, and that was in the deal when we made the deal. So we start coming up with the designs for the first couple of characters, the gremlin and whatever. And one of the things was going to be, we were going to launch with just bobbleheads, see how these did, because no one had done anything but Sideshow. A board game years ago, the comic, Sideshow's 12-inch. So we started to do a couple designs, and one of them was a bobblehead of Rod Serling, a respectful, not crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Carol saw the designs, his widow.
Carol Serling.
saw the designs and didn't love it. I don't know if she dug the idea of the bobblehead thing or thought it was whatever. She's like, eh. And they kind of came back and said, you can't. She doesn't want to do that. And I thought, okay, it's in the thing, but I'm not. This is widow. I'm like, of course not. No,
Right.
we won't do it. And so then we thought, well, we'll do a little statue that's more just 1-1, like not a big giant head and a little body, but just a
Right.
nice little statue. Same sort of height as the bobbleheads, but very different, more realistic. Started doing that prototype, and then word came back. You know what? Nothing with Rod at all. We ended up getting, I think, 3 or 4 images of him that were approved for packaging. That's why there's only a couple of images that were actually
okay.
approved. The rest were kind of fuzzy and they weren't great. And so I said, okay, fine, we won't do it. But when I talked to the network again, I said, but we need to get more categories. If we're not going to do that, which I really want to do, and that's what actually opened the door for action figures, which then led to prop replicas, which then led to all the other stuff. We were gonna just try to do some bobbleheads and see what happened. So much as I wanted to do that, when we couldn't, the door opened to actually make the figures that we did. We did 8-inch figures, we did 4-inch figures,
Yeah.
all kinds of bobbleheads and stuff, black and white color.
Right.
Yeah, those are.
They're all everything's
Yeah,
great.
it's really
all of
cool.
that. The
Thank you.
the Mystic Seer thing is probably one of my favorite
yeah, that's
pieces
fantastic.
that I
Yeah.
own.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just adore all that stuff. And
Is there any chance maybe you can, because we do know there's a great 12-inch figure of Alfred Hitchcock that James has. And I'm thinking, maybe if you guys made a prototype, a nice, respectable 12-inch
I'd love
with,
to,
with
yeah.
a cigarette in it.
I'd love to.
And try it again.
I've got a custom that Brian Heiler had made for me.
Oh, really?
Black and white to go along with the black and white 8-inch ones that we did. He had a custom
Nice.
Serling figure made.
That's sweet.
Nice.
If you go on eBay and type in Rod Serling figure, you get custom boxes. There's like
Oh, yeah, that's the
Really?
thing. People make just the boxes.
How about
like
just a head?
fantasy box.
Yeah, there's a head floating around. out
Yeah, I
there,
would like
think.
if I
Yeah.
can
It's
get
so-
the head.
Yeah.
It's so weird because the man is loved and cherished.
just
and,
he's so
there's-
iconic, too,
And,
just-
and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if not now, where she could, enjoy some revenue or something. I mean, I kind of think if you keep trying, eventually, the estate will say yes.
As soon as I leave here tonight, I'm going to give her a call.
Yes.
Well, now that we're back on TV, let's throw out some either TV or movie
Halloweenish.
choices that would be great for Halloween and wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a film that I know, Matt, you've seen, was made a couple years ago, 2015, and I really enjoyed it. It's a portmanteau kind of mythology. Tales of Halloween.
Oh, that's great.
It's a great, great film.
I think I just saw that.
Yeah, and it's great because it's really a lot. It's like maybe like 7 or 8 or 9 mini stories
Yeah.
within this like 90-minute, 2-hour thing.
That was good.
All different directors.
Yeah, and some great
all-
directors too, like Neil Marshall.
Yeah.
Mike Mendez.
Yeah,
did
Mike
one.
Mendez, John Skip.
And it's done. They're just like little, kind of like almost like EC Comics type, like just desserts type stories. Some are really short, some are a little longer.
And friend of the show, Dana Gould.
Dana Gould's in a great
Yeah.
segment, and this is also like a real love letter to like horror fans because they have lots of cameos. First of all, Adrienne Barbeau, like your character in The Fog, she's like the radio host who's talking. It's Halloween, everybody, get ready for some scares, and she kind of narrates it. Caroline Williams is in it. Barbara Crampton, Felissa Rose, lots of Scream Queens. Joe Dante, John Landis, Mick Garris, Stuart Gordon's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little
it's all kinds of people in
but
it.
like lots of cool effects,
I
lots of
just saw
gruesome
this,
stuff. Really good.
Yeah, it's good.
Another one that I really enjoyed was just done a couple years back, 2017, The Terror of Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
This is,
Todd
Tucker.
Tucker.
Todd Tucker, who I think we talked with and interviewed with on our Monster Palooza.
We
last
did.
Monster
That's
We
right.
did. Got to get him on the show.
We eventually
Todd's,
will.
Todd's like a makeup effects artist, and this was kind of like a cool like revenge
Those
story.
bullies.
Yeah, it takes place in the 1980s, and it's a kid who's like obsessed with monsters. And he loves, but he's like an outcast, and he's bullied, and he finds this
Magic
old book
or-
to bring out this vengeful
The
demon.
trickster.
The trickster played by Doug Jones.
Doug Jones.
Yeah.
So you got Doug Jones, you got this love letter to 80s horror.
Yeah. Mhm.
And you've got all kinds of practical effects that are really
lots of
done
practical-
well.
and
it's a lot of fun.
Lots of like, he definitely has a love for like John Carpenter. In fact, he even uses, John Carpenter put out those CDs called John Carpenter's Lost Themes. It was like original music that wasn't for a particular movie, but it's very much his music. And he used one of Carpenter's themes in this chase sequence. But yeah, it's a really well made film, very professionally done, and obviously a small budget, but yeah, lots of practical effects. So there's two like more recent films that are great though for the Halloween season.
Yeah.
James, what do you got?
I want to talk a little bit about Halloween music playlists.
Oh yeah, cool.
Oh.
Okay.
This time of year, you're driving in your car.
Yes.
And more than any other time of year, you feel like listening to some creepy music.
Yes.
Talking about John Carpenter, almost every score that he's done, and I would add Morricone's Thing score because it sounds a lot like Carpenter in some places. You just scramble that music together on a random
totally.
playlist.
Yeah.
Prince of Darkness, They Live,
Yeah,
all
I
the
love
Halloween
all, I mean,
movies.
it's just such gets you in the mood.
Yeah.
The Fog. I love The Fog.
Glad you brought
soundtrack.
that up. Prince of Darkness, another very underrated,
I actually agree.
very underrated.
I
song.
like
I
that
want to love
There's-
that movie,
there's
but
good stuff in there.
I would
there's good.
I would
things
agree
in it.
that it's underrated, but it's not that much.
Overrated.
Yeah, it's
Be
about
underrated.
right.
It's not.
It can be blah, blah,
It's
blah.
not a lost masterpiece.
No,
okay?
it's not a masterpiece. But you can't. But again, I give him, like the
There's
track
some
record he
interesting-
had of like boom, 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 and even the stuff that was like people made fun of at the time. Nobody cared about Big Trouble in Little China when it came out. They fucking
No,
hated it.
but people still
And then
don't
it
care
became-
about Village of the Damned or
no,
Ghost
no,
of
no,
Mars.
no.
It's
I
better
would-
than
I would
it's better
say-
than that movie.
It's
yes.
way better than that. I would
Yeah.
say Prince of Darkness is, and actually In the Mouth of Madness is pretty good too.
Yeah.
That I have
there's
championed
Like,
before.
that-
I think
that's
that
got
is
some
underrated.
It's all right.
really weird stuff in it. No,
Yeah.
but again, I'm saying you've got
Yeah.
a high watermark.
Sure, of course.
This is not Coppola from Godfather 2 to Jack. Okay, it's not nearly that.
Right.
He gets
But-
to Jack via that.
I do
remake
like the
Village
Prince of
the Damned.
Darkness soundtrack
Yeah.
a lot. It's like,
Yeah.
By the way, for the three of you out there that got that Jack joke,
I got it.
give me a call.
And I will say,
I
be
that was
friends.
I
James-
grinned very hard.
You grin broadly.
during-
I felt
James
your
has
grin.
James has gone out of his way every year. He makes like a Christmas CD, but he also does this Halloween CD, which and that thing that you made, James. That's what I listen to, and it's so funny. You say when you're driving your car, James. That's what I was listening when I was driving over
James,
here.
James, you should make actually an Ultimate Carpenter compilation.
I should.
Only
That'd
his
be fun.
only his best.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
that
would
would be
be fun.
great.
Did you see him? I saw him a couple years ago.
I did too. I saw him
Sean went
last
to that.
Halloween.
Palladium, like 2 years ago.
in
maybe?
Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably there the same. Yeah, it was
Great show.
fantastic.
Well,
So
then
good.
if you're gonna play that, well, what about horror rock? There's so much
Sure.
great,
Oingo
scary.
Boingo. Oingo Boingo.
No,
I love Oingo Boingo.
Oingo Boingo are a great Halloween band. Don't
Yes.
fucking don't fight
Danny
me.
Elfman.
No.
Danny Elfman. The themes from first of all, Tales from the Crypt.
Yes.
Beetlejuice. These are great, like little Halloween.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, as
you hear
movie soundtracks, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
The
Oingo
band
Boingo
Oingo
are, they're a
Boingo
Halloween
is
band.
not a scary
no,
music
but they're-
band.
Well, who is?
But they're
the
a
Damned,
Dio?
the Damned, Ghost.
Eh,
Come on, are you kidding me?
man.
The Cramps.
Man.
Suzanne Vega.
Bauhaus.
So wait a minute, you don't like any
no, I
any
didn't say
kind
I
of
don't
horror?
like-
Name,
No,
give me
no.
one. I'll take Bauhaus.
Yeah, okay,
Bauhaus,
Bauhaus,
yeah.
maybe.
Bauhaus
maybe,
is awesome.
maybe.
I like Bauhaus.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Any kind of dark metal. There's so many great dark metal bands.
But is that horror or is it just
Well,
depression?
what?
It's
depression?
dark.
They're talking about the devil and stuff and scary things.
That's
and,
life, man. That's not horror. It's life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
where I've
Oingo
gone.
Boingo.
I'm saying
that's
a-
as dark
that's
as
a
you go
Halloween- No.
in rock
No,
music.
just
I'm
a
saying
fun Halloween.
They are
I'm
synonymous
talking,
with
you're talking,
Halloween.
no, you guys,
You're
talk,
talking
you guys
worshiping
said scary
the devil.
music.
You're talking about worshiping
no,
the devil.
although Iron Maiden, Number
Although,
of the Beast,
if you need to
is a
worship the
great
devil,
friggin' song. And
put on Number of the
Black
Beast.
Sabbath,
Black
the
Sabbath,
first
yeah.
album. The song Black Sabbath, that's a scary fucking song. If you haven't heard that in years, everybody, Iron Man and War Pigs.
What happens if you watch the movie
Play-
Black Sabbath and play Black Sabbath?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That would be good.
Would
that would
you-
actually be really
would
good.
you
That's a
summon-
great Halloween movie, by
Could
the
you
way.
summon
Yes.
the devil? Would you summon the devil?
Well,
And you took a load of ketamine. Would you be?
then yes.
Okay.
But
do
Black
you-
Sabbath is a great.
It's a great movie.
That is a
Carlo,
great
it's a great
Halloween.
movie.
You can get a replica of that mask now.
Oh really? Oh,
It's a
that's
couple $100, but it's like a black that
I
devil
want it. I want
mask.
it.
Do you have a final nail in the coffin, so to speak? A movie or a TV thing?
Well,
or-
I got a bunch of them, but one I just saw recently that I thought was great when I first saw it. And then I just stumbled upon it again and watched it all the way through. And this thing just moves and is great. Is Train to Busan.
Oh yeah,
The zombie
Great-
film is
great movie.
so great.
Really
Great movie.
It's great from every angle. The human drama part of it is wonderful, really well acted.
Really well done.
And so these zombies, they're fast zombies, but they're more kind of like biological
Virus.
fast
Yeah.
zombies. And they are the creepiest fast zombie you will ever see.
Yeah.
Because they're like people that have just gone berserk.
Yeah.
And that is a great movie.
Black Friday footage.
Yeah.
Sales hit.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
That is so good. And then I would also like to recommend, I think we all, for the most part, would agree, is a great, fun Halloween movie and probably the best of this director's films, The Beyond.
God,
Fulci.
Oh, yeah.
Still,
That-
like the ultimate Italian 70s horror film in a way. It's just
It's got everything.
It really
I
is.
just watched that like a couple months ago.
It's-
It's on Prime right
Yes,
now. or
yeah.
something.
talk
I
about
just
like
watched that,
feeling
yeah.
of dread and like
From
it's
beginning
like,
to
I
end,
mean,
and maybe one of my favorite endings of a horror movie of all time.
and talk about music, Fabio Frizzi.
Great.
Fantastic.
Isn't he performing?
Yeah, you sent me a link. He's like performing in December
Yes.
somewhere. Like, oh my god, I could go see that.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And then for something a little bit more lighthearted, maybe you could bring the kids in, but it's
Human
still
Centipede?
scary. Well, always. But I always go back to the yokai monster films.
Oh yeah,
Those are great.
so fun.
Now, are you familiar with these?
I don't think so.
really good, really unique to Japan.
Dai
you know.
film.
Like older films?
Yeah, they're
the
60s.
60s, late
and
60s.
and they did 3 of them. They did 100 Monsters, Spook Warfare, and Along with Ghosts. And they were all done in like a 2-year period.
Yokai are like like spirits in nature.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and like
The mask stuff, where like they take the mask off.
they're not like the elements. It's like they represent
Yeah, they're like
water and
Okay.
kind of like Shinto spirits.
Yeah.
Okay.
And each movie, it usually has something to do with some sort of feudal lord is
Okay.
doing so. Kind of like the Majin films too, where
Yeah.
something's going wrong in the town, and then these ghosts come along and act as kind of like the vengeful spirits. And my favorite one is Spook Warfare. The story mirrors The Exorcist in a lot of ways. Fortune hunters find this tomb and unleash this demon, and it travels to Japan and possesses this, I guess it would be like a shogun or a magistrate, and is wreaking havoc throughout the town. So then the local spirits get together and form this alliance to fight this demon. And what's great about these movies is that the way that the yokai are presented is that they're guys in suits. And the suits are really weird and surreal.
yeah, they're not conventional.
They're,
like
they're not especially convincing, but they're so
they're so
strange.
bizarre. Yeah, they're creepy.
That it works.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like I always consider it to be kind of like a mixture of The Exorcist and H.R. Puffin stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
those are
good.
super fun. And I mentioned Majin, which is do you know this film?
I don't think
giant stone
Giant-
idol statue that comes to life.
Yeah, 3 films, all about a town that is being
Besieged
persecuted
by- yeah.
by the local magistrate.
Okay.
And the villagers pray to their god Majin to help them. It's this big statue. The statue suddenly changes and the face of the statue,
like a
which was kind
scowl.
of blank, is now
Yeah.
like this Ernest
Evil,
Borgnine,
angry,
like
green,
"Argh,"
yeah.
grinning, just scary.
It never speaks. It just like walks and just like.
and all it does is just unstoppable
Yeah.
force
Really cool.
of nature, and it just finds everybody who was doing all these horrible things and just stomps on them, grabs them, squeezes them, throws them all over the place,
Really
and almost to the point where it's got to be calmed down to stop it from just killing everybody.
Right. Yeah. Very
It's
cool.
another Daae trilogy that was also shot 3 movies within 2 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these, even though these were probably fairly low budget, they're really well made. I mean, they're beautifully shot.
Well, also
and
the
scored.
the scale of Nudgeon is not. It's not like Godzilla size.
Right.
He's like he towers like maybe over a 2-story house, but that adds the scale. Like, so he picks up a guy, he's kind of like a little large. It just works. It's
Yes,
really well.
40,
yeah.
40
Yeah.
or 50 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works really well.
And it makes sense too, because to have a monster the size of Godzilla
Yeah, it's
would
a
be
statue that
ridiculous.
we've made.
You
Right,
know,
right.
just destroying this poor little feudal town.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But
Quick movie.
But one more that I would like to suggest, and I know that you're a fan of this movie, Sean. I saw it years back, I think when it first came out, but I watched it with my wife, Carrie, and it's The Gate.
yeah, that's a good
Oh
one.
yeah.
The Gate is great, and it's 1987, and it stars young Stephen Dorff.
That's right. Right.
And it's these 2 kids, and they manage to somehow open this hole that leads to hell
Yeah.
in their backyard.
But what I like about the movie is it's kind of like 80s Spielberg meets Lovecraft. You know, because
Yeah.
it's a suburban setting with kids on bikes and it's
Yes.
like that. But then you get this cool Lovecraftian stuff and it's fantastic special effects.
The effects are
so good.
great.
Yeah, it's a really good film.
And it really does just trumpet Halloween.
yeah, very much.
Because
it mostly
you've-
takes
you've
place
got-
in the house. The kids are, yeah.
And you've got the kids, and then like out of this hole that leads to hell are these little demons that jump out.
minions.
And I remember them being stop motion animation, but in some scenes they are, but for the most part they're just guys in suits.
Yeah.
But the way that they shoot it, they walk around with kind of a
It's
jerky
so weird.
gait.
There's one shot in that I never forget, which is I think there's this one character comes after me. He's like a shambling zombie or something, or like I forget.
Yes,
what he,
yeah.
He falls face forward onto the floor, and as he falls, he just like splits up into the little minions.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so striking. It's
great.
really cool.
It really is a lot
It's
of
a good
fun.
film, yeah.
And it's fun, and it's got humor, but
It's
the
good.
humor doesn't hit you on the head.
it's done
It's really
respectfully.
good.
Are you like a Shaw Brothers guy?
Oh, I love Shaw
yeah.
Brothers.
Do you know The Boxer's Omen?
I don't know this
movie?
one.
Box-
From 1983. A friend just recommended this to me, and I watched the trailer, and it looks completely insane. Shaw Brothers, 1983, The Boxer's Omen. Look up the trailer.
Well,
Huh, okay.
I'm gonna. Or sorry, did you have another recommendation?
No,
for-
no.
Let
I thought you were going to tell me a little bit about the
me
plot.
tell you about the history of cinema, where it came from.
Tell me about you.
I got a movie, and I don't think I've talked about this with you guys. I know it was a while ago I was on the show. I don't think there's any reason we would have talked about this, but I have a movie that I think is wonderful, that I'm telling everybody to see, that is genuinely scary. And it's a British movie called Ghost Stories. And it's based on a West End play called Ghost Stories that ran for quite a long time. Devised and written by Jeremy Dyson of League of Gentlemen
Oh, wow.
and a guy called Andy Nyman.
Okay.
He's a British actor. He also he helps design, who's the guy? Darren Brown, the illusionist, the psychic type British guy.
I'm just going to say yes.
Okay. Well, he sort of oversees a lot of his shows, but he's a wonderful actor. I think he just played Tevye and Fiddler or something.
That is a scary movie.
Yeah.
Imagine having a fiddler on your roof.
I'll tell you how you know who Andy Nyman is. Did you ever see Dead Set?
love that.
Probably
Okay.
one of my favorite zombie things of all time.
Andy Nyman.
Sean turned me on to that.
Andy Nyman was the producer of Big Brother on that show.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So he is he's got a background in magic.
That guy's funny.
Yeah.
Funny
yeah.
as shit. Background in magic. Great writer. Ghost Stories was Andy Nyman and Jeremy Dyson devised this thing and created it and wrote it in the West End, and it scared the crap out of people.
I'm looking it up. It's got Martin Freeman,
They
Paul,
made it
Paul
into a movie.
Whitehouse.
Martin Freeman, Paul Whitehouse, this other kid that you'll recognize, a few other faces, and Andy Nyman, and they co-directed. The beauty of this thing is, not only is it a portmanteau, where a character comes to Nyman who doesn't believe in any of this stuff and says, I've got 3 cases I can't explain.
Oh, cool.
You need to go, find out because you've been wrong your whole life. go find out. And you go into these stories, like 85% of the movie is practical effects.
Nice.
Perfect.
I always
There
like
is
that.
stuff that is so scary in this movie.
Cool. I gotta check that out.
Not like, gory, not torture porn, not necessarily
right.
jump scare, but just
Creepy.
genuinely creepy and
Right.
chilling. And it's so effective and so good.
I love
It's
it.
called Ghost Stories.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'll
Yeah.
just throw out one because I know like lots of Blu-rays and DVDs coming out. A film that just came out on Blu-ray because it's never had a really good. It had iffy release on DVDs. 1976, Alice, Sweet Alice.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yeah.
Arrow Video finally released it in this nice deluxe Blu-ray, and it looks fantastic. Tons of extras. It's just a great, one of my favorite proto-slasher 70s horror films.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a great, creepy
Yeah.
movie, and this finally, it's like this is a beautiful release of this. The
That's
movie
great.
It's well-deserved.
And also, if you want to watch a movie that, for me, just symbolizes everything that I love about Halloween when it comes to the sets and the atmosphere, that would be Horror Hotel.
Ah, yes, that's a great one.
Christopher Lee.
So atmospheric.
And just look it up. I'm not going to explain the whole movie to you, but it basically involves a town that's taken over by witches, and it's great. And
agree.
yeah, if you're looking for atmosphere, this is the one.
Yep, cool.
We could go on and
And on and
I think we did.
Now it's time for a slumber party.
Well, Jason, thank you
Scary
so
summer.
much.
Yeah, this
Thank
God,
you guys.
You are such a joy. We need to
thanks,
have you
man.
back very soon.
I'm going to be here next week.
Okay.
Right.
Coming in. Thank you guys. This is just a blast. I appreciate it. I hope everyone had a fun time.
Oh, we did. And is there anything that you have that you would like to plug?
Something, yeah. What's Biff Bang Pow working on? Is there something you could tell us about?
Nothing I can tell you about. But
we just have to wait.
Just have to wait. We're still doing stuff. Lots of fun stuff happening. We shall see. I'm producing on a show right now through November, just writing and producing on this outdoor game show.
Cool.
For someone. And then, no, just I'm still doing the Chrysler Pacifica commercials, like TV and radio spots. So
I've got them on a loop on my phone.
I give you copies of every
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know you want them because you asked for them. So
Well, I
figured-
listen to them as I'm, just nodding off to sleep.
or while you're ironing.
Yeah.
Great,
yeah.
the great ironing.
While I'm ironing my
background.
car.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
ironing background.
Yeah.
That's about it. No, I got nothing else. That's me. In a
Well,
nutshell, living the dream.
We love what you do.
And,
thanks,
we
man.
loved
Thank you,
hearing
guys.
your Halloween stories. Your
Thank you,
phrases.
guys.
Great.
It's
This is
awesome.
Festive and feisty and
Yeah.
fun.
So I just want to raise my glass to thank Jason Lindsay and wishing everybody a very happy
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Time for a listener shout out.
Shout out!
Sean, I think you got one for tonight.
I do. Yes, I do. This shout out goes to a Greg Tydarrington.
Great Ty Darien.
Ty Darrington.
Tydarrington. I hope I pronounced that right.
Darrington.
Ty Darrington.
Yes. Greg is an actor, movie critic, and podcaster.
Oh.
I believe we met him briefly at the last Monster Palooza.
Okay.
And he actually has his own website and podcast radio show called Racks and Razors.
Racks and Razors.
Yeah, and
Nice.
he has different guests on. He talks about all kinds of different, every facet of horror. He's a total monster kid and total hardcore horror guy. And just want to say congratulations, Greg. It's a good job and nice meeting you. And keep up the awesome monstrous work.
Very cool.
Yeah.
One more ally.
That's
to
right.
Our cause.
It's the Monster Party Army.
Yes.
Yeah.
We also have a new review.
Hey.
This comes from M. Schiarino,
M. Scurino.
who gives us 5 stars
5 stars.
Out of
stars.
20.
out of 25.
No, 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Says, great show.
Great show.
What amazes me most is that I enjoy the shows that I don't even necessarily have an interest in the topic so much.
Hey.
How do you like that?
My interests skew to sci-fi and not horror.
I see. I get it.
But even the shows I know nothing about leave me entertained and wanting to pick up some movies they discussed.
Cool.
The interaction between the cast is incredibly funny.
Oh.
They're not short shows, but they help.
No.
But they help make time fly during my commute.
Oh,
nice.
there you go.
That's great.
Thank
You can't
M.
have a short
Schiarino.
party.
No,
Yeah.
no. And
Yeah.
we have detail in our show.
Yes.
Right. We have
Yeah.
information that is important and people must know.
and it's funny, too, because like a good party, you start talking, you start having a conversation, you start having a good time, and then you look at the clock and you're like, oh my God.
Right, and you get home with somebody, and
next thing you know, you wake up and you're in the gutter.
Or sometimes everyone's trying to talk over each other. So, you sometimes you get carried away.
And that never happens with you.
Yeah.
I've been working on it. I don't know if you've noticed, there are times tonight I kept my mouth shut because I wanted to hear what was being said.
Larry, I love what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that sincerely. And so I would say, whatever you're doing, do more of it.
Okay, well then perhaps we could all take a lesson from me. And perhaps we could listen more. I'm just saying, throwing it out there.
Wow.
We all listen.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes we don't like what we hear.
True. Right.
Is there another review?
No, I was just going to remind our listeners that you can find us on Facebook and YouTube at Monster Party TV. By the way, we one of our very earliest shows was a YouTube show where we tackled Halloween as a topic. It's about a 30-minute show.
Good Lord. That's when the party was really fun.
It's a fun half hour. You should still check it out.
It is.
And there's a lot of other things in our early YouTube days. If you search, there's some interviews that we did that we happen to have a camera on. And we did a Planet
Think
of
of
the
it.
Apes.
Think of it like a Spinal Tap when it was Spinal Tap doing the Flower People song. It's like,
Yeah.
do what the flower people say.
Imagine if our show was a half hour and recorded in Haiti.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
On
like
somebody's phone.
sweaty middle-aged guys.
But you knock those. But we do have that great Monster Party Goes to Japan show. I still can't
But
say
that's
enough.
different.
I love
That's
that.
different.
Well, there's
though.
that, but we also did a Comic-Con one. We did Godzilla Collectibles one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Comic-Con one I really do enjoy.
That was fun.
That was great.
We got to do, because we were a little lit. Right? I mean,
Which we have to do another episode soon.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It would be
Where
kind
we're-
of fun to
Yeah.
to start an episode. And
We're either
listeners,
drunk and
let
or
us
high.
let us know if
Yeah.
this is something you would like to hear.
Yeah.
But where we
like
start
genuinely.
we start the show at an inebriation of
Yeah.
like 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, a little cannabis maybe would help.
whatever, yeah, and then we just go.
No.
Why?
So we always
little crystal meth.
we
little,
always talked about calling one of our episodes Blotto.
Yeah,
Where we would
yeah.
start off 3 sheets to the wind and then just be completely incomprehensible.
It would be funny.
See, why
Larry,
is that funny? No,
to see you have you start wasted?
we did an animals attacked episode when I had quite a few.
Yeah,
I think.
and that was really funny, right? That was
No,
entertaining.
I don't know if it was funny.
You didn't like that?
Lepus, I don't even.
You wait, hold it.
You're a lovable drunk.
You listened to every one of our episodes about
Yes.
25 times.
Yes,
Yeah.
So what did you think of that Animals Attacks episode?
it's all right.
Because you were drunk?
Well, no, it's a good episode. It's good.
Yeah,
it's a good.
but
But
do you
I mean,
think
I mean,
If the point of the episode was that we go in and we're just gonna
And just having
get
fun.
wasted and have fun,
I don't know if they
that could be entertaining.
Yeah, yeah.
We wouldn't do it every
That has to
episode.
be especially-
An experiment.
It's an
Yeah.
experiment.
I think
exactly.
people like hearing our facts and our knowledge,
yeah,
and when our
and-
guests.
and that does not mean. First of all, it doesn't mean that even when we're wasted, we won't give them some facts.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
They'll just be our facts.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. just
I
think
want
it'd
the
be
facts
fun.
to be facts.
It's
Well-
also going to be one of those, I love you, man. You don't know what direction you're going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
could be fun.
I know I'm going to go to that place because that's the kind of drunk I am.
See, I
now
don't know.
you, I don't know.
No, I don't
Let
know.
me tell you
That's why.
something,
That's why I
Weinhold.
want to.
I've been putting up with your shit for years.
That's right. I might become like a mean, bitter drunk. You know.
And then you know what I'm gonna be? I'm gonna be- And all the rest of us will be like, let it out.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a safe place.
Yeah.
By the way, I think I'm getting a little bit of a stomach ache from eating that pumpkin.
Of course you are. Yeah. Those things, I just
love 'em.
I
do
don't
like 'em,
understand.
though.
I don't understand how. Like,
It's
I understand candy, and I understand like chocolate or caramel or something like that.
No hard
Nougat.
candy you
I
like no
well,
sweet tarts or.
I like taffy, saltwater
I'm
taffy.
not really. It's too much trouble to eat that stuff.
Well, it's chewy, and it gets
takes
even
too long.
But like this is like all they did was paint a sugar cube.
Oh yeah, sugar's good.
No.
I like that you still have your half-eaten one on the table, by the way.
I can't. No, I've got a stomach ache literally from the half of that.
Well,
I think. How old were these?
Just these are fresh.
No, these are
But
new
you know
ones.
what? I hope you guys enjoyed. Like Jason commented, but to make it more of a Halloween episode, I
Yeah,
brought
this-
my little bubbling pumpkins. And
I love it. I love all the. I love.
in the Halloween spirit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like the spirit is in the air.
Yeah. No, you make it come alive. I like your dedication to detail.
And
it's always appreciated.
Next year I'll bring Milky Ways. Would that make you happy,
yeah.
Sean?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
$100,000 bar.
Ooh,
I love the $100,000 bar.
You don't hear much about those. Those are great.
I found those at CVS to give away
so
for the
good.
Halloween. So come on by my
those are really
place.
good.
Oh, I know where I'm coming to go trick or treating.
You should actually.
You remember marathon bars?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Charleston Chews?
I was
Yeah.
going to bring that up. Charleston Chew was great because that was a great. If it was long, it was a pretty cheap candy
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah. Cheap.
And so if you were on a budget,
Yep.
Yeah, but you know what we would do as kids? I don't know why we thought of this, but we
strangle someone with them.
Charleston Chews in the freezer.
Yes.
Freezer. And they're really good, and they kind of last longer.
I never thought of that.
I don't know
Sean.
why we thought of that particular candy to do that with.
You were a
but it's
genius.
great. Yeah,
That's
it's
why.
really good. Try it.
Candy bars in the freezer is I don't know who thought that up, but that works with most of them. I
Yeah.
think.
Did you ever also like Kool-Aid? You would pour it into a
Ice tray.
Ice tray, yeah.
and put
Yeah.
toothpicks,
sure, yeah.
toothpicks,
Yeah, yeah.
and like
Didn't we learn that on Super Friends
Yeah,
or one of those
or
things?
Time for
Really?
timer.
Time for timer.
Time for timer.
Yeah, that was good too.
Stacks of snacks.
Yep.
Is that the one?
Since 6 o'clock at night, you haven't eaten a bite. Come on, then I'll show you how that's not the way for a growing kid to start a busy day. Something like that.
Wow,
That is
awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, let's. I think we should raise our glasses again
Yay!
to Halloween.
Halloween.
Okay, I mentioned Facebook and YouTube. Also want to say you can find us on Twitter at Monster Party HQ. Our Instagram handle also Monster Party HQ. Please take a moment and write a review on whatever platform you're listening to us on because chances are very, very good, almost guaranteed. In fact, we will read it on the air.
On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Sean Sheridan.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong.
Have a happy Halloween. Right, Peter Chris? Beth, I hear it's Halloween. That's enough.
We talked to Dr. Migo, and he says, "Oh, Migo fans, they all have lists." Yes, buddy. Why don't you make those Logan's Run figure? Dude, you don't have to do the Farrah Fawcett. I know. Oh, lawsuit. Blah, blah. She's dead now. Hello. There's an estate, and she probably would. Her son would probably go, "Hey, yeah, I could use the."
I feel like there's
few
something.
bucks."
There's something hinky about Logan's Run
There's got to be
that-
someone with the rights or something.
that I think that would have been done. Is this me here?
No, don't touch it. Don't touch it. No, just come on.
I think there's got to be something hinky about that because
Yeah.
that would be something that everybody would would have done,
But
would have
here-
done by now, would have wanted by now.
Jason.
Yes.
But don't you realize? I mean, we talked about classic Adam West Batman for years and years, and look
Right.
how long it took them.
It took a long
time.
Yeah, a long time.
Now it's like and the funny thing is the stupid thing is, you know what it was, buddy?
Yes.
It was greed, and guess what happened?
Everybody,
No,
Farrah
they-
Fawcett died.
No. I'm talking about
I agree.
Batman. I'm Batman. See, they should have done the Batman thing like 10, 15 years ago. They should have worked it out.
Right, I agree.
Because
Adam West is still alive.
yeah, when Adam West was and
Right.
and now it's
Right.
like it's like it's so long. Only the fans from the classic show. It's like, hey, how you can reintroduce these to new people? You
Yeah.
should have done that like 15 years ago.
But Logan's Run, compared to the popularity, if you put Logan's Run figures in Target and you didn't even explain what it was from
Yeah.
or what movie it was from,
Yeah.
and you put them right next to, say, the Facts of Life figures,
yeah.
which is going to sell?
Well, the
100%.
Logan's Run.
100%.
And I'll tell
you put Jenny Agutter in a screen
Oh my God.
correct
Yes.
gown.
Kids today
Yes.
love Agutter.
Oh my God.
She's having a renaissance. Right?
oh my, like vinyl.
but Jason,
Walkabout. If we
just
did,
like
we did
vinyl.
like a walkabout line.
Walkabout works.
Oh yeah, we had when we had
All the
Scott,
time.
when we had Scott
Scott
Thompson on.
Scott, what's his name?
You got Scott Thompson on?
Yeah. Hey,
Get
hey,
out.
we're not a pushover
I
podcast,
love Scott
buddy.
Thompson. Scott Thompson Did I say that's Scott Thompson's story?
No,
You
tell
have-
us.
Propositioned me slightly at Largo one night.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's okay. You said no.
And had I had like maybe one more drink, I would have said yeah.
but see,
Come on. Yeah, just go with
I
it.
just needed one more drink. It's all I
Yes.
needed.
But
He was
he's a
cheap.
fan. He's a fan of Agater. I tell you.
Oh yeah.
But let me, those funny
Is this the
things.
show, by the way? Are we-
No. We're not.
We are recording a little of
Oh, we
this.
are, okay.
And we usually like to put some of this at the very end, like little bonus banter.
Scott Thompson
Banter.
offered to satisfy me sexually
Wow.
at Largo one night.
And let me just tell you,
I don't know
that
what
show-
Tell you, I was flattered,
Okay.
and had I had another gin and tonic, it might have happened.
We did an episode called So What If I Had My Own Movie Studio? And we had him on, and we talked, and he and I had very different ideas about how we'd run our
About
studios.
pretty much everything.
I was just going to say,
Okay,
just the studio?
From the obvious
No,
to
it
the
just-
sublime.
Just how to run a studio? Or
Well, he
How to run your life.
how to make a
no,
sandwich?
no, not that. But he brought up some questionable ways of running the studio. But that was his view.
It was his studio.
It was
He could
his
do what he
studio,
wanted.
which I
Right.
His
think would
prerogative.
just be open to lawsuits. But for mine was a very safe studio,
Right.
and
with
secure.
lots of parking.
Lots of parking. Do you
Always
know-
important with a studio.
Don't you hate it? You're Mr. Voiceover guy.
You're Mr. Voiceover.
and you go to your voiceover place, and then you go, okay, I'm pulling up. Well, where's my parking spot? Where's the parking? And then now you got to drive around the block. Oh, now I got to park down the street. What? How many hours is that? Don't you hate that?
Yeah, next
at
thing you
my
know, I
studio,
miss my session.
Yes, at my studio, I have plenty of parking. I
love
have
it.
double the amount of parking.
I'm glad that's top of the list, though.
You know what's the top of
We have
the
no
list for
projects
mine?
lined up for the studio, but we've got parking.
Mine was bring back cocaine. Right?
See, that would you'd get executives lined. You'd get
Movies
creative
were
people,
better when there was cocaine.
Tons of cocaine.
no,
Yeah,
As payment.
yeah.
Yes.
It was
No,
it was a better day.
telling ya.
Oh, really? Yeah. Hey, that Heaven's Gate movie. Oh, that was great.
That, excuse me, that's actually not a bad movie.
Not a bad thing.
Now it looks like
Yeah, I lost my voice. Is it
Cocaine
back?
is a sign.
Okay.
Are you there?
Am I there? Is it good? Okay.
That's good.
Now, I always
I thought
forget,
that was
what
a
are
joke.
you doing while we're doing that? Are you like playing Tetris or what are you
No,
doing
I'm
here?
just looking at sites. And
He's
Shopping.
quality control.
No,
Okay.
hey,
He's doing the treble.
no, he's very much. He's he's.
I know he's doing both
tabs
at once.
and-
I know.
yeah.
I know.
No, he's Mr. Computer Guy.
All right.
You want to speak into your mic one more time?
testing.
Do you like
1,
that?
2, 3.
Okay.
Again,
maybe
you-
my headphones are going out. Maybe I don't know.
I eventually I'll be able to upgrade the
Okay, that's
headphones,
fine.
but
Do you
not
sound?
now.
Do you sound real low in yours? Because I kind of sound low.
Because that's what he does. He goes, can you
Testing.
Yeah,
Monster Party.
Yeah.
Okay. If it sound good to you,
It's like
okay.
subliminally, yes, I can hear you.
Can't really hear myself.
I think we sound
Speak with your
great.
man voice.
I can't really hear myself on the microphone.
So this is gonna be Halloween. Anything goes Halloween edition.
No.
Speaking of the mic.
No, it's got to be. What is it, Sean? I'm sorry. Isn't it Halloween? Anything
No,
goes.
it's anything goes Halloween edition. That sounds good.
I like
Right?
that.
Yeah.
In olden
Okay.
days, a glimpse of stone.
Wait, can I just need to write this down. Anything goes. Halloween.
Mandarin.
Halloween.
Evolve.
Because I have the list of the other names of the other shows.
Okay,
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. What are they?
let's start this.
Okay, I'm
Yeah, that's a
sorry.
good idea.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
I am but the patient. You are the specialist, so you push me where you need me to go.
So don't talk until we
Shut
do our
up until we
introduction.
tell you to talk.
Right.
Yes. You know.
By the way,
Don't fuck this up.
It hurts when I do this.
Very important.
It hurts when I do this. By the way, doctor.
Save it.
All right. Sorry.
All the
Sorry.
quality A material for the show.
Sorry.
All right. All right, you clowns.
Okay, air's on.
I'm bubbling.
Good.
Ooh, I feel that
The
air.
door
You
open.
like?
Yeah.
Are you happy?
They keep the door open, right?
Do you like it? Are you happy?
I'm happy.
Good.
That's Gorilla's kind of distracting me. I don't know if I can do the podcast now.
Wow.
I'm
And you are
kidding.
going to remember to speak into the mic.
I
right?
feel
Yes,
insulted. I'm not a gorilla. Oh, were you talking about the?
No,
thing over
you're
in the,
you're
oh,
more of a bear.
Sorry. You hear that, audience?
That's what Scott Thompson said.
Yeah.
Scott Thompson. Good night, everybody.
He said he likes hairy men.
That's right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Oh my! Now you know what?
Yeah.
Now I see.
And back then, I was covered in hair.
Yeah.
I was like,
Don't you disappear
Freaking
for
Yeti.
like
oh yeah,
4 months at a time?
oh yeah, oh yeah. I stock. That's why I have a Costco card. I stock up and I disappear. A ton of stuff.
And you and them picnic baskets.
Grow
oh.
F off, giant hair, beard.
All right.
All right, here we
All
go.
right, this is all fun. This is all good.
All good.
Yeah.
All gold.
Okay, good. That was a little warm up, right?
Yeah. Sibilance, sibilance.
There you go. All right, we're gonna start now.
Let's start.
Wait. Do you hear the plane?
I think that's the air conditioner.
Oh, you're right. All right, never mind.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I think
We
that's
won't
the
hear it.
Victorian Halloween decoration in the corner that's turning around or something.
Yeah, there's a Zuni fetish doll that's running around the house.
Been loose for a while.
Yeah. Okay. And I can open it if you get the vapors.
That's what she said.
You got a fun little
Sorry.
Halloween.
No, I don't. Nothing at all.
Time for listener shout out. Sean, why don't you start us off?
Yes, I have a shout out.
Wait. Could you stop that annoying
I
sound?
thought you guys like soundtracks.
No. Yeah, but
It's like,
I want to hear the shout out.
Okay.
okay, this shout out goes to Greg Tyderington. I hope I pronounced that right.
Hey,
Greg Tidarian.
Let's start again.
Okay.
I was just fucking around.
What, from the very beginning?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
please. Just from not from the beginning of the show. We have to get
Greetings, everyone.
greetings, everyone. I'm Jason LENZI.
Just like it.